Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We are here on the Crime Network, Wabbit Crime Network, once again, day two, y'all. Cameron Reed, first trial, first murder trial, day two. We're back. We're back. All right, so we're gonna be continuing where we left off with the day one murder trial. Hold on, did I? All right, we heard the opening statements. You know, great performance by the defense, I gotta say. And make sure y'all check out the We the Wabbit store. We got merch and stuff. We got merch and stuff. You can find all kind of stuff over there, including one of these mugs. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. The anonymous donation link is in the chat. If anybody wants to donate, one of the way to support this channel is through the anonymous link. Another way is through the merch store where you can get some merch and some stuff from the store, as well as hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. The Cash App is pinned in the vertical, and Nightbot is putting it in the chat. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody here rocking out. We're gonna get it started because we got quite a ways to go. So we're gonna get it started. We're gonna make sure we do the damn thing. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me see who in here. Shout out to Yvonne, man. Shout out to GWB, the Jensen Wabby Brown. Shout out to Kiss My Cheeks. All That Remains. Courtney Peach, K20EP1. Heck Money. Sunshine Heathen. What's up, Heathen? Bad Tears. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. All right. Let me get this video so we can get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get this video so we can get it started. All right, trial day two is what we on. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Trial day two is what we on. So we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. Yeah. Oh, why is my stuff? I didn't even realize my stuff was looking like this over here. My bad, yeah. Maybe it be acting up when it's ready, dude. All right, so yeah, this is my main screen. I didn't even realize it was messed up. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Letitia, what's up, Letitia? We about to get it started. We about to get it started. We about to get started. Karen Retrial, ladies and gentlemen. Day one. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. So in the last in the day one of the trial, they were doing the opening statements. They started questioning some witnesses. It was now the defense's turn to cross-examine um, one of the witnesses. I believe it was a police officer. So this is where we're gonna start off today. We're gonna start off with that. So let's go, y'all. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and I want to thank everybody for rocking out. Let's go.
Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, 22117.
Okay, good morning again, counsel. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. I appreciate everybody's commute today. Took everyone, I'm sure, a lot longer than we all anticipated, but we thank you for being so prompt. I do have to ask you those same three questions. Is everyone able to follow the instruction and refrain from discussing this case with anyone yesterday? Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instruction and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case since we left yesterday? Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, read anything about this case since we left yesterday? Everyone said no or shook their heads. All right, thank you very much. Can we have Officer Saraf, please? Morning.
Morning, Honor. Don't mind, you're still under oath.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Oh man. Hold on. He said this. Is that what I did? Shout out to Thaddeus. Oh god damn it. Shout out to Thaddeus. Yo, is that what I did? Whoops. Shout out to Thaddeus, man. Hold on. Thank you. All right. I think we good now. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Rumorville, what up, Rumorville? Oh man.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, Officer Sheriff. Morning. Is there anything that you would like to change or amend or modify about your testimony yesterday that you thought about overnight?
No.
Did you discuss your testimony with any person between
Well, let me put it in regular speed for this guy. He don't talk as slow as the other guy. Want to make sure I don't miss nothing. Foxy Brown, what's up? Want to make sure I don't
and
miss nothing.
or modify about your testimony yesterday that you thought about? Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, Officer Sheriff. Morning. Is there anything that you would like to change or amend or modify about your testimony yesterday that you thought about overnight?
No.
Did you discuss your testimony with any person between the time you got off the stand yesterday and?
We got to get remonetized over here. You probably did when it was monetized. But we got to get our watch hours back, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get our watch hours back, all right? We got to remonetize this channel as well as the other one with all the thousands of subs. Listen, man, we working 2025. Monetize in 2025.
Coming back to the courtroom.
No.
Officer Sheriff, I want to ask you a couple of questions about something called a dispatch log. You know what a dispatch log is?
Yes.
What is a dispatch log? Can you describe it to the jurors?
Just notes saying what time calls come in and sometimes a short synopsis of what happened on the call.
It's an official document generated by the Canton Police Department, correct?
That's correct.
And it's kept in the ordinary course of buess?
Yes.
It's created at or near the time of the event that it's recording?
Yes.
And it's supposed to be accurate?
Yes.
Is that yes?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And in fact, what it has...
Thad just donated $5. Salute, saluting face emoji, bro showing support. Shout out to Wabbits not being one-dimensional.
Lord of mercy. Shout out to Thaddeus for that $5 donation. He said, salute, bro. Showing support. Shout out to Wabbits not being one-dimensional. Hey, your support is appreciated, man. Shout out to Thaddeus. Shout out to the chat. Let me make sure. Shout out to Thaddeus. Thank you, sir.
Is the dispatch details of the event that's in question. Whatever officers show up, what time they show up, the order in which they show up, the location to which they're dispatched, things of that nature, correct?
Yes.
Have you looked at the dispatch log in this case?
No, I have not.
May I approach you on it?
Yes.
This has been pre-marked as Exhibit 27. Take a glance at that and tell me if you recognize that document.
Yes, sir.
How do you recognize it?
It looks like the log in question.
Oh, okay, so that's the dispatch log for what date?
The 29th.
Do you see your name somewhere on that dispatch log?
Yes.
To the right, one of the 3 officers that was called to the scene?
Yes.
And that looks like the dispatch log for the call out that you were testifying about yesterday. Is that right?
That's correct.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I publish this as we
Yes.
discuss it? That is really small font. May I approach one more time?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not an eye contest.
That I would not.
I should say. Oh, look at that. The magic of technology. All right. You can either look up on the screen or look at the dispatch log that's in front of you. I'll try to look at the one on the screen, but my eyes aren't that great either. If you look to the right, there appear to be 3 entries for the dispatch of the officers that were on the scene about which you testified yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, it has this dispatch log shows that you and then Officer Mullaney and then Sergeant Good all arrived to 32 Fairview that morning within 7 seconds of each other, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
It actually has Officer Mullaney arriving first at 6:09:26. You see that?
Yes.
And you see that it also has 3 seconds later at 6:09:29, you arriving. Is that right?
6:29 it says. Excuse me, it's 6:09, yes.
6:09 and 29 seconds.
Yes, I'm sorry, yep.
That's okay. And then it has Sergeant Good arriving 4 seconds after you at 6:09 and 33 seconds, correct?
Sure, yep.
So all 3 of you, according to the official document generated by Canton Police Department for this event, has Officer Mullaney arriving first, you arriving second, Sergeant Good arriving third, all within 7 seconds of each other, correct?
Correct.
That is completely false, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you've looked at your dispatch, your dash cam, correct? And clearly, we saw it yesterday. You arrive and there's nobody else on scene.
Correct.
That was at about 6:10 a.m. that you arrived, correct?
About that, yes.
And then Officer Mullaney actually arrives after you about 6:11 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
And Sergeant Good does not arrive, according to your own dash cam, until about 6:16, a little after 6:15.
Yep.
All right. So right off the bat, the official Canton Police Department dispatch log, one of the first documents generated in any investigative event, that's completely wrong, right?
The times are, yes.
Well, the times and the orders, right? I mean, not only did Officer Mullaney not arrive first, you arrived first.
That's correct.
And then he arrived.
Sure.
So that's 2 things that are wrong about just that, correct?
Sure.
And then it has Sergeant Good arriving 4 seconds after you, which is also incorrect.
Yep.
He didn't arrive until about 6 or 7 minutes after you, right?
Sure.
All right. Have you reviewed this document in the past?
Yeah? No.
You've never seen the dispatch log?
No.
Did you ever seek to make sure that the dispatch log that's so important and so vital in an investigation was actually accurate before it was turned over to the defense, for instance?
No, I didn't.
All right. But without that dispatch log, without your dash cam, we would be relying on your dispatch log to be true and accurate. Is that right?
Other than what I'm saying that what happened, correct.
And do you think it's accurate otherwise? Yeah.
Not in order, no. It's not. Not in order, no.
Other than
In
the
time.
order and the time that the officer's responding, is it correct in all other respects in your mind?
Can you rephrase?
Sure.
Say it one more time.
Let's take away the order and the time that the officers responded. Ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dispatch log otherwise accurate?
Yes.
Take a look at the left-hand column where it's highlighted in green. What's that address?
Highlighting green?
On the screen, it's highlighted.
I'm sorry.
I didn't see it.
I don't have the document.
That's
you're-
okay.
you're holding.
It says 32 Fairview.
Did you arrive to 32 Fairview Road?
No.
You arrived to 34 Fairview Road,
That's correct. Yep.
So that even the location on the dispatch log is faulty. Is that right?
Sure, yep.
What the hell? Yo.
May I approach you?
Yes.
What in the world?
Yep.
What is going on here?
You testified at a grand jury in April of 2022, correct?
I did.
At that grand jury, do you remember telling the grand jurors what address you actually responded to?
The lights, please.
Don't recall. Probably what I said in the grand
Would it
jury.
refresh your recollection if you took a quick glance
Sure.
at a copy of your grand jury testimony? May I approach you, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Thank you.
Officer Sheriff, I've done you the favor of highlighting a page on page 9. Where did you indicate to the grand jurors that you actually
It
arrived?
says 35 Fairview.
I know what it says. I'm asking if it refreshes your recollection that you actually testified under oath that you responded to 35 Fairview Road.
Yes.
And that is incorrect as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Well, this lawyer is tearing him up. This lawyer is tearing
Have
him
you
up.
reviewed any of the other officers' reports that relate to your dispatch out to the location that you've been testifying to?
No, I did not.
Did you ever review Sergeant Good's report?
No.
Are you aware that have you ever discussed with Sergeant Good that he wrote in his official report that you responded to 32 Fairview Road?
No.
And of course, we just talked about the fact that the dispatch log lists 32 Fairview Road and not 34 Fairview Road, correct?
Correct.
So none of the initial police reports, not the dispatch log, not your police report, apparently not Sergeant Good's, list 34 Fairview Road as the actual location where you responded that morning, correct?
As far as I know, yes. Yes, sir.
Was there an effort on your part or anybody else's, to your knowledge, to mask the actual address of Brian Albert's house as 34 Fairview Road?
No. No.
All those were just mistakes,
Yes.
over and over and over.
Yes.
When you made contact with the victim and the women that you described yesterday, did you see any evidence that any of the women had been engaged in life-saving measures?
Yes.
What did you see?
It appeared that Karen Reed was doing mouth-to-mouth on John O'Keefe.
You saw, I don't want to get too graphic, but you saw blood on her face?
Yes, I did.
You saw blood on his face?
That's correct.
You saw blood in her hair?
No, I didn't see anything.
You didn't notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
Okay. But certainly blood on her face from having engaged in some sort of CPR activity?
Yes.
Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, you said?
It looked like it, yes.
Okay. You also saw Carrie Roberts seemingly assisting with chest compressions. Is that right?
I'm asking a question.
Sorry?
Objection? There's just no question.
No, he can ask it. The question hasn't been asked yet. Finish the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you also see Carrie Roberts seemingly assisting in chest compressions?
I don't remember who exactly it was, but it appeared that somebody was doing
What about
purchase.
the third woman, Jennifer McCabe?
They were all around the body.
Did you see Jennifer McCabe ever engage with John O'Keefe as he lay on the ground and assist in any life-saving measures? Did you witness that?
I don't recall.
But you do recall my client engaged.
Yes.
Isn't it true that Jennifer McCabe pulled you aside while my client and Carrie Roberts stayed with John O'Keefe and began engaging you in a conversation?
Yes.
And she was providing some sort of a narrative to you, correct?
Correct.
While the other two women are trying to save John O'Keefe's life, she's talking to you.
For brief seconds, I would say.
For brief seconds?
Yes.
You saw the dash cam video. Was those several minutes on the dash cam video where she's standing and having a conversation with you? Are those the brief seconds?
I don't know what time frame you're talking about.
Right after you got there.
Right after I got there.
Correct. Did you ever see Jennifer McCabe do anything physically to help John O'Keefe?
No, I didn't see anything.
Did Jennifer McCabe offer to you during that brief seconds that you described this narrative that she was having, this conversation she was having with you, did she ever offer the fact that she was standing in front of her sister's house?
No.
Did she ever offer the fact that her brother-in-law, who lives in the house, is a first responder?
Objection.
Sustained.
Were you apprised at any time while you were out there that the homeowner was a first responder?
Objection.
Sustained.
Tamika, what's up? Who speaks? What's up?
Based on your observations between Karen Reed and Jennifer McCabe, which one of those women appeared to be more focused on trying to save John's life in the moment?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Between Karen Reed and Jennifer McCabe, which one of those two women, based on your observations, appeared to you to be more focused on physically trying to save John O'Keefe's life in the moment?
At that point, it was Karen Reed.
You would agree with me, Officer Seraph, that in any investigation, details matter, accuracy matters, correct?
Sure.
Reports are written in police investigations in order to memorialize observations, things heard, seen, experienced by the officers, correct?
Yes.
And generally speaking, you're trained to write those reports and memorialize those observations as quickly as possible so that things are fresh in your memory.
Correct.
You don't want to write a report about an incident that you respond to today, 2 years from now.
No.
As a matter of fact, you're trained exactly the opposite. When you respond to a scene, somewhat important, you need to get it down on paper as quickly as possible for detail and accuracy, right?
Yes.
You did, in fact, write a report, a supplemental report for this investigation where you laid out your observations of that morning, correct?
That's correct.
These are called incident reports, correct?
Yes.
I'm holding what appears to be a multi-page document that is entitled an incident report. May I approach?
Yes.
Take a look at the tab page
Mhm.
and tell me if you recognize what's on that page.
I'm sorry.
Do you recognize that? All I'm asking you is,
Oh,
you recognize
yes.
that as your report?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you write that?
Yes, sir.
When did you write that?
I believe the morning of.
So that would be January 29th,
That's correct.
a little bit later in the morning after you left the scene.
Yes.
And you were reflecting back on what had just happened minutes or hours before, correct?
Yep.
And you were trying to be as truthful as possible, correct?
Yes.
You were trying to be as accurate as possible,
Yes.
as comprehensive as possible,
Yes.
and as thorough as possible.
Yes.
You wrote in that report, quote, Karen Reed kept screaming, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" She was severely distraught and not able to tell me what happened. Correct?
That's correct.
Their approach.
Yes.
There was no limit to the amount of words that you could put on the page, correct?
No.
Matter of fact, there's a ton of white space. It's left unutilized, right?
That's correct.
You could have taken as much time as you wanted to in writing this report. Is that right?
Sure.
And it was, is that yes?
Yes.
There was no reason to abbreviate anything. Is that right?
No.
And you tried to be as accurate as you possibly could in that moment
Yes.
and put everything down in that report that reflected what you experienced and what you observed and what you heard that morning, correct?
Yes.
And the only statement you attribute to my client on that morning, just hours after the incident or minutes after the incident, was she kept repeating, "Is he dead?" Correct?
Yes.
You were interviewed by Michael Proctor the next day, weren't you?
I don't know what day it was, but.
Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at a report?
Sure.
May I approach you on it?
Yes.
Karen Reed lawyers is pretty good, man. These are pretty good lawyers.
Take a look at that report that's dated March 15, but reflects an interview on January 30, and then tell me if you recognize it.
Looks like his report.
Okay, that's that's Trooper Proctor's report of an interview that he did with you, correct?
Yes.
And if you look on the second page, paragraph about what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
That's highlighted?
I highlighted it for you, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell Trooper Proctor, let me withdraw that, ask it a different way. Were you trying to be as thorough and comprehensive with Trooper Proctor as you were in your own report?
Yes.
You weren't holding anything back in that interview, correct?
No.
You wanted to be as truthful and as honest as you possibly could?
Yep.
And as comprehensive as you possibly could, correct?
Yes.
You told Trooper Proctor that you could, quote, hear Karen Reed continually state, "Is he dead?" as the paramedics treated the victim. Officer Seraph then seen Karen inside her friend's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
So the only statement you attributed to my client the day after this incident was, those 3 words, "Is he dead?" that she continually repeated. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
In the 2 times that you were asked to reflect back on exactly what happened that morning, on January 29th and January 30th, both times you attributed only 3 words to my client having been repeated continually in her distraught state. "Is he dead?" Right?
Yes.
And she wasn't saying that calmly, I'm assuming.
No.
Matter of fact, you used the word she was severely distraught. Is that right?
That's correct.
When you say severely distraught, we saw part of that on your dash cam. She was emotional,
Yes.
upset,
Yes.
focused on John,
Yes.
trying to save his life,
Yes.
and asking, what was the question that she asked?
Is he dead?
Over and over and over, correct?
Correct.
Then you were asked to testify in April of 2022, April 14th of 2022, at a state-run grand jury by the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Matter of fact, Mr. Lally was the fine prosecutor who was asking you the questions, correct?
Yes.
Between the time you wrote your report on January 29th and you gave a statement officially on January 30th, between that time and when you testified in April of 2022, do you have any meetings with anybody from the Massachusetts State Police?
No.
Do you have any meetings with Mr. Lally?
No.
Did Mr. Lally put you on the stand without talking to you first?
No. For this trial?
Nope. I'm just, the dates in question are up to April 14th, 2022, at grand jury.
I don't recall.
You don't recall if you met with either Mr. Lally or any of his contemporaries?
I don't recall.
To discuss your potential testimony?
I don't recall.
Not before. I don't recall meeting with him for that. No. One time I met with him in his office was a couple of weeks ago with this.
In preparation for this testimony?
Correct.
But your testimony now is that he didn't meet with you or you did not connect with him to discuss your testimony before the April grand jury?
I don't recall.
When you did testify in that grand jury, you changed your story, didn't you?
No.
You believe you testified completely consistently at that grand jury as you had in your report?
I testified for what I remember what happened, sir.
I see. Was your memory better in April than it was minutes or hours after the event?
Was it better?
Was it better or worse?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think your memory gets better as time goes on?
Not usually, no.
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 Usually it's the opposite, isn't it?
Yes.
Memories get foggy, they fade.
Yes.
Which is why you write reports the day of the incident, if you can, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what you testified to at the grand jury in April of 2022?
The whole thing?
No,
Oh,
sorry, that was a bad question on my part. Just as it relates to statements attributed to my client,
Yes.
what was your exact testimony in April of 2022?
I'd have to look at my.
Would it refresh your recollection if you saw a copy of your
Sure.
grand jury transcript? May I approach?
Yes.
Look at page 18. Let me know once you remember it, once you review that, and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Yes, it does.
In fact, on April 14th, 2022, months after this event, for the first time, you said, quote, and these are your words, tell me if I get them right. She, this is my fault. I don't know. She said, I can't believe this happened. I mean, she kept asking if he was going to die, if he's dead. And, I just basically said, we're doing the best that we could, end quote.
That's correct.
May I approach?
Yes.
So in April of 2022, for the first time, you attributed the phrase, "This is my fault. I can't believe this happened," to my client, correct?
That's correct.
Wow.
But nowhere in your official report did you say that.
That's correct.
And nowhere in your interview with Trooper Proctor the next day did you say that.
That's correct.
Man, boy, this lawyers is good. Karen Reed, you got you some good lawyers, man.
You think that was a pretty important omission on your part?
It was an oversight.
An oversight.
Yes, sir.
That a woman whom you made contact with, standing over the body of a fallen police officer, said to you, "This is my fault." Dismiss that one. Yes?
Yes, I missed it. Yeah, I didn't write it down.
No.
And then, of course, you testified yesterday and your statement changed again, right?
I don't.
Remember what you said yesterday, these jurors?
I don't remember word for word.
Well, I wrote it down. Let's see if this helps.
A lot of mercy.
Yesterday, you said that my client said, quote, "It's all my fault. I did this," end quote.
Yes.
Remember that? Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't say that at the grand jury.
No.
And you didn't say that to Trooper Proctor.
No, sir.
Wow.
And you didn't put it in your report.
That's correct.
If you were to testify in another 2 or 3 weeks, I think your statement would just keep evolving.
Objection.
Wow. God damn. Hey. Hey. Lawyer, you're being disrespectful. Excuse me, lawyer. That was very disrespectful. Ooh, that lawyer slick.
If you were to testify in another 2 or 3 weeks, I think your statement would just keep evolving.
Objection.
Sustained.
Shots fired. Mrs. Baker, what's up?
Now I want to shift gears for a second and talk about what Ms. Reed actually said that morning. You said that you reviewed your dash cam video, correct?
Once.
Do you remember when you arrived, one of the first things out of your mouth was the question, what happened?
Yes.
That would be a natural question to
Sure.
ask.
Yep.
Right? You assess the scene and assess the situation.
Absolutely.
And you would want to listen closely to what that answer was, correct?
Sure.
Ms. Reed did, in fact, answer you, didn't she?
I don't recall what she said.
Wow.
She said, quote, "My boyfriend, I left him and he never came home." End
Wow.
quote. correct?
I don't know. I don't recall.
Wow.
You agree, we've already agreed, that details matter in any investigation.
Absolutely.
They certainly matter in this investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'd like you to take a look at what's been pre-marked as Exhibit 26.
This officer has been deceptive, y'all. He hasn't been accurate. He has made inaccurate statements, and it's not looking good for him right now.
This is about the 3:50 runtime. I'm not looking at the actual. I'm not looking at the actual time of day over here. I'm looking at the runtime, which is down at the bottom. So if Mr. Bates, you can put this up. Can you pause it?
Pop.
Just to orient everybody, does this appear to be your dash cam?
Yes, sir.
Same dash cam you were looking at yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it, Mr. Bates. And pause it. Officer Seraph, just like it's not an eye exam, it's not a hearing exam either. I'm going to do the best I can to raise the volume. And Officer Seraph, I want to focus your attention, if you wouldn't mind, on 9 seconds after you say what happened. Just count in your head and listen very, very carefully to the woman's voice that responds to what she says. Go ahead. Pause it. Very, very hard to hear. Have you listened to that before?
No.
Does it appear to you that she said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home?
I couldn't understand anything.
Okay.
I want to play that again. I'm
She
sorry.
said,
I want to play that again. I'm gonna see if I can turn it up a little bit.
pause it. Head and listen very, very carefully to the woman's voice that responds to what she says. Go ahead. Pause it.
I really couldn't make out what was said. It was really hard to hear what was said. It was really hard to hear.
Very, very hard to hear. Have you listened to that before?
No.
Does it appear to you that she said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home?
I couldn't understand anything.
Okay. Let's replay it one more time. Turn the volume up one more time right at that moment. Listen for a woman's voice just under.
I'm hearing what you're saying.
Sorry. I was asking Officer Seraph, please listen to, there's a din of noise, obviously, road noise, wind noise, etc. It's your dash cam, the audio from your dash cam. Once you close the door, listen very carefully, about 9 seconds after you say what happened, for a woman's voice, and see if you can make out what that voice says.
Sure.
Stop. Did you hear? I left him and he never came home.
I'm really not sure what I heard. It could have been that, but it was real. I'm really not sure what I heard, bro. I can't lie. I'm really, if he didn't say what she said, I don't think I could have told him what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't say I heard her say this. I heard a voice. I heard her say something. What exactly did she say? I cannot tell you. I really can't.
I couldn't understand what they were saying.
You couldn't understand that?
No,
Do you want to hear it one more time?
No,
I don't think it.
no. Turn the lights on, please.
Now, if my client had said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home, would that be something that you would find important to put in your report?
Objection.
Sustained.
Let's move to another area of the dash cam video. I want to keep playing it at the 28-minute mark, 28-minute and 20-second mark or so.
So can I see counsel at sidebar for just a minute, please?
All right, let me skip this sidebar real quick.
Okay, have you looked at Sergeant Good's dash cam video, which is squared up on the right side of the screen?
No,
You've never seen it?
no.
Lovely.
Okay. Does it appear to you that these are two different perspectives of the same scene? In other words, you see the car or the SUV on the left side of the screen right here, correct?
Yes, sir.
See that same SUV right there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that appear to be two different perspectives, two different angles,
Yes.
but basically the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to the individuals to the left of the SUV right here. There's a person wearing a hood with fur on it. Is that Carrie Roberts? To your memory?
I don't know.
Okay. There appears to be another person with a darker jacket standing just in front of that person with the hood and fur. You see that person?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to focus on the person in the darker jacket.
Sure.
I believe, and the only reason I'm asking you to focus at this point is because I want to try to play this just once and see if you recognize what's depicted in the video.
Sure.
What I expect you may see is this person move out of sight behind the SUV, and then in the background, there's an SUV parked in the driveway. Pay special attention to that portion of the SUV and see if you see that person in the dark jacket pass from right to left in front of that SUV as if they're going to the house. Let's go ahead and play it. Go ahead and pause it. Have you seen the person in the dark jacket leave the view?
Yes.
Did she appear to go behind the SUV?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and play it. Go ahead and stop track. And now I'm going to ask to draw your attention to that car with snow on it. Pay special attention to that car as the film continues to run. Go ahead. Pause. Do you see a person standing in front of the car?
Appears to be a person. Yes.
Walking from right to left?
Yes.
Would that be toward the house?
Yes, it would be.
Okay. And also, if you wouldn't mind switching your perspective, now you're looking more at the front of the house. Continue watching the film and see if you see that same person walking toward the house. Okay, stop. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. I saw the shadow. Yes.
Right. Shadow of a person
Yes.
walking toward the front of the house. That was Jennifer McCabe going into the house, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Was it a person going into the house?
It was a person. Yes.
Did you give anybody any permission to go into the house?
No, not my own.
Would you think that a witness in a homicide scene We can go ahead and raise the lights. Thank you. Would you think that a witness at a homicide scene being allowed to go into a house to make contact with other witnesses?
I didn't know it was a homicide scene, sir.
If I could finish my question. Do you think it's appropriate for a witness at a potential homicide scene, an unconscious person scene, whatever, crime scene,
Yes.
to make contact with other witnesses and begin discussing the situation unsupervised?
Can you rephrase that question, sir?
Do you think that's an appropriate thing to have happen?
I have no answer for that, sir. I don't know what you're asking.
Officer Seraph, when you go to a crime scene,
Yes, sir.
one of the first things that you'd want to do is secure the scene and separate witnesses so that interviews could be conducted, correct?
Sure.
You wouldn't want witnesses just cavorting together and getting their story straight, right?
Correct.
You'd want to avoid that at all costs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And why is that?
So they can't collaborate their story.
Yet there was a person walking from the area where a body was found in the lawn of a house, walking into the house to make contact with other individuals, correct?
It appeared that way, yes, sir.
Does that seem appropriate to you?
No.
Of course not. We've talked a bit about what you did and didn't hear at the scene from my client. At any point when you were at that location, did you hear my client repeating the phrase, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
She said, I hit him? No, I didn't hear that.
You never heard her whisper it, yell it, say it, or otherwise?
Not that I recall.
If you had heard that statement, you likely would have written it down, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You likely would have reported that to Trooper Proctor the next day, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You likely would have mentioned it in your grand jury testimony, correct?
Yes.
And you did none of those things because you did not hear that statement, correct?
I did not hear that, no.
Sir, you were at 34 Fairview for more than an hour before you cleared the scene, right?
Yes, sir.
You were at the location of the body of John O'Keefe.
Yes.
In other words, you just didn't stay in your cruiser. You walked out to where John O'Keefe was.
No, I was in my cruiser at different times. I
Must have been a bad question.
Okay.
You didn't just stay in your cruiser. At points, you got out of your cruiser, walked over, made contact with the women, and you were standing next to the body.
Yes.
And you were obviously looking around. You noticed some footprints.
Yes.
And you even noticed some lack of footprints.
That's correct.
So you were being observant at the area of the body
Yes.
and the area adjacent to the body.
Yes.
You were looking for anything that might have been out of place?
Yes.
Anything of any evidentiary value, correct?
Yes.
You never saw or otherwise observed, located a single piece of taillight material, did you?
No.
You certainly didn't see 45 pieces of broken plastic or taillight material, did you?
No.
You never located or otherwise observed John O'Keefe's missing shoe
No.
or any other clothing of his?
I didn't. No.
Officer Sharaf, did you ever think to look inside the house
No.
for that missing shoe?
No.
That never crossed your mind?
No.
You think that might have been a smart thing to do at the time?
Objection, Your Honor.
Rephrase the question.
Sure. Do you think that would have been appropriate protocol when dealing with a body laying on a lawn that is partially unclothed to look inside the house of the lawn?
No.
You didn't think that would have been an appropriate protocol
No.
for you or anybody else?
No.
Obviously, you did not conduct a search of that house, did you?
Nope.
And you're aware that to this day, no law enforcement officer ever conducted a search of that house.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Not mercy.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Lally?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
You were asking questions. You were shown a dispatch log. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And dispatch log, as far as the Canton Police Department is concerned, are you aware of sort of how or when or who creates that?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury sort of how that document sort of comes into being?
So when a call comes in, an officer is at the desk, and usually the first thing they would do is dispatch, get people going to the scene, and get everybody rolling as far as if they need FD, police, whatever resources they need, and basically then type in what the call is and who's going.
So fair to say it's more important to get assets allocated to a scene, especially in the case of an emergency, which is why someone's calling 911, than to ensure that the dispatch time is correct down to the second.
Absolutely.
Now, you were asked some questions about different things that you heard the defendant say, correct?
That's correct.
And you were shown specifically some grand jury testimony from April of 2022 in which you indicated during that testimony that the defendant stated, "This is my fault."
Yes.
And is that based on your memory of what she said?
Yes.
And you also testified yesterday along those same lines, correct?
Correct.
What you testified to before this jury, as far as your memory, is that accurate as to what happened on that scene, January 29th, 2022?
Yes.
Now, prior to this call, did you know Kerry Roberts?
No.
Did you know Karen Reed?
No.
Did you know John O'Keefe?
No.
Did you know Jennifer McCabe?
No.
Based on what you've seen as far as the dash camera, would you be able to differentiate between Jennifer McCabe or Kerry Roberts from that dash camera footage?
No.
While you were on scene, did you see anybody from 34 Fairview Road, from that address, come outside?
No.
Did you see anybody from any address on that entire street for the entire 90 minutes that you were there come outside?
No.
Now, you were asked some questions about some different addresses on Fairview, whether they be 32 or 35. Do you know where either 32 or 35 is located in relation to 34?
It would be next to each other in sequential order.
Nothing further.
Okay.
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you're all set, officer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Lally, who is your next witness?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Officer Stephen Mullaney to the stand.
Okay.
Yeah, this officer,
Stephen Mulaney.
this last guy, he seems. The last guy seems pretty. Why didn't you write it down for real? Like, could you imagine you get on the crime scene and she says it's my fault and you don't write that down? That's one of the things that when I got here, she said, "It's all my fault." Like, what? It's all your fault. You know, it's all your fault. What you mean it's all your fault? Like, that's not something that you would.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the evidence you give in the court and jury in the case now hearing should be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can stand or sit, sir, whatever is more comfortable. Just make sure you speak into the microphone, please. Hey, whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
Stephen Mullaney, Mullaney.
And how are you employed, sir?
I am employed by the Canton Police Department as a patrolman.
How long have you been a patrolman for the Canton?
Since July 2020 and a full-time officer since August 2021.
And if I could call your attention to the evening of January 28th, 2022 into the morning of January 29th, 2022. Were you working on that occasion?
Yes, I was working the 11:45 p.m. to 7:45 a.m. patrol shift.
And were you dispatched to a call shortly after 6 a.m. on the 29th?
Yes, I was.
And where were you dispatched to, and what was that in regards?
34 Fairview Road for a unresponsive party.
Now, if I could turn back just for a second, as far as when you're assigned as far as a patrolman with the Canton Police, are there different sort of geographic sectors within the town to which you're assigned?
Yep, I was assigned to the east sector.
And it's Fairview Road within that east sector?
It's the west sector.
So you were assigned to the east sector, but dispatched to a call in the west sector, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you know why that was?
Yes, east. The east sector backs up the west sector.
Prior to this, on the 28th, going into the 29th, were you
Why
aware?
don't you hold on a minute for the... Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Lally.
Oh, thank you. So on the 28th, going into the 29th, what, if any, awareness did you have as far as the weather forecast or sort of what was predicted as coming?
I believe around midnight it began to snow.
And that's while you're on shift, is that correct?
Yes.
When you're on shift and you're on patrol, particularly when there's a weather situation as far as snow or something like that, what is it that you're doing on patrol?
Well, I stayed in the parking lot that shift, so didn't get stuck anywhere.
And as far as the snow that was predicted and the snow that fell, how much precipitation, what kind of a storm was it?
Well, by the morning, it was pretty heavy snow.
And by the morning, by what time?
Around 6 a.m.
So by the time that you were dispatched to that call, we were just talking about the snow was picking up and getting heavier.
Yes.
And as you were, so you were at the station when you received the dispatch, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And about how far away is Fairview Road from where you were at the station?
Mile and a half, 2 miles.
And can you describe to the jury sort of the route that you took going from the station to Fairview Road that
Yep.
morning?
I took a right onto Washington Street from the station, and then I took a right onto Dedham Street from Washington Street, a left onto Cedar Crest from Dedham, and then a left onto Fairview Road from Cedar Crest.
And so Fairview Road runs sort of between two other more major roads in Canton, fair to say?
Yes.
And you mentioned Cedar Crest, is that correct?
Yes.
Cedar Crest is off of Dedham.
Correct.
And so what is the other sort of major road on the other sort of intersecting side of Fairview Road?
Chapman Street.
So when you're coming from Cedar Crest onto Fairview, about how far into Fairview is 34?
2 houses down on the right.
So the house would have been on your right, is that correct?
Correct.
And in addition to yourself, who, if anyone else from your department was dispatched to this call as well?
Officer Saraf.
And who, if anyone, arrived first?
Officer Saraf had arrived prior to my arrival.
And Officer Saraf, as far as which direction was his cruiser facing? The same as yours, directly at yours, or something else?
I don't recall.
You recall seeing Officer Saraf during your en route time, sort of between the station and arriving on the scene?
I do not know.
Now, as far as when you're driving from the station to the scene, what, if anything, do you recall about sort of the road conditions, visibility, anything?
Visibility was difficult. I don't exactly recall how far you could see, but it was definitely coming down.
And at this point in time, on January 29th, just after 6 a.m., what is sort of the lighting conditions? Has the sun come up yet? Is it dark out, or what's going on?
It was still dark out.
And if you recall, what was sort of the vehicular traffic on the roadway between the station and your arrival on Fairview Road?
I don't recall there being any traffic.
Now, as far as when you are coming to the scene, do you recall whether or not you had to activate sort of your lights or your sirens or anything like that?
I believe I would have used the blue lights.
Do you recall using sirens?
I do not recall whether or not I used sirens.
And if you know, about how much time elapsed between the time that you received the call and the time that you arrive on Fairview?
3 minutes, approximately.
And when you arrive there, what, if anything, is sort of the first thing that you see?
I saw Officer Saraf towards like the front lawn, kind of surrounding the victim. There's a couple other people as well. And the fire department was on arrival right about the same time.
And so, beyond yourself and Officer Sarah from Canton Police, were there other sort of town assets that were dispatched to this call as well?
The fire department.
And when you say the fire department, how many sort of vehicles or what was their response as far as?
I believe they had a fire engine and ambulance.
And do you recall if the fire engine and the ambulance came from sort of the same side as you from Cedar Crest, or did they come into the scene from from the opposite side as far as from?
I think they had come down Chapman Street to Fairview, and they were facing towards Cedar Crest.
Now, so you arrive there, you see Officer Saraf and people from the fire department, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that you saw a person on the ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
And just for clarity purposes, at some point subsequent to this, you were able to identify the person that was on the ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
That was John O'Keefe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And where the other people that you indicated were there, where were they in relation to John O'Keefe?
I think I don't really recall where everybody was upon my arrival, but I think everyone was kind of like in the vicinity around the curb to the street.
Now, as far as when you're first arriving, you're pulling up to the scene, were you able to see Mr. O'Keefe on the ground at that point, or I saw people around him, but I had to get closer before I saw the victim on the ground. And so the other people that you saw around him, were they kneeling down, standing up, or something else?
I believe Officer Saraf was still standing up. I don't recall anyone else.
Officer Saraf standing up near Mr. O'Keefe before you actually saw Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
Now, this particular area where you saw Officer Saraf standing up and Mr. O'Keefe or Officer O'Keefe on the ground, what, if any, sort of additional ambient lighting did you observe in that area? Was there any street lights or anything like that around there?
Not that I recall.
Now, in addition to Officer Saraf, at some point did you encounter some other individuals or civilian people on scene?
Yep, Miss Jen McCabe.
And in addition to Ms. McCabe, were there any other female parties there as well?
Yeah, Carrie Roberts.
And in addition to Ms. Roberts, was there any other female parties there?
Yes, Ms. Reed.
And just to be clear, do you see Ms. Reed in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Okay. Could you identify as to where she's seated or an article of clothing she's wearing?
Black dress.
That's a record reflect identification.
Yes.
Now, prior to this call, did you have any prior sort of familiarity with Karen Reed?
No.
With John O'Keefe?
No.
With Jennifer McCabe?
No.
With Carrie Roberts?
No.
You don't know them.
When you arrive and you make those sort of initial observations, where is it that you go? What, if anything, do you do?
The fire department began their life-saving measures, and at one point we were able to get him onto the stretcher or onto a backboard, I believe it's called, and then onto a stretcher.
And what, if any, involvement did you have with that?
I assisted the fire department in placing him on the backboard and then helping get him onto the stretcher.
Now, as far as you mentioned that where you came and located Mr. O'Keefe, you recall sort of what position his body was in when you first observed him?
He was lying face up, was back on the ground.
And you recall where he was in relation to the roadway, if you could tell?
Yeah, he was on the front lawn. So, I didn't know exactly where the curb was, but I would think about, approximately 10 feet from the curb.
And so you mentioned that you couldn't tell exactly where the curb was. Why is that?
There was snow on the ground.
So the snow sort of covered the curb at that time that you're there, is that correct?
Yes.
But you approximate it was about 10 feet into the lawn.
Yeah.
And the snow on the ground that you observed at the time when you first arrived, about how much snow had accumulated on the ground?
I'd say at that point, approximately 6 inches.
And what, if any, snow did you observe on any part of Mr. O'Keefe's body when you first saw him?
There was really no snow, but you could tell that he had been in the conditions. It was almost as if it was like water, kind of like frozen on kind of to his face.
Wow.
And did you make any observations, or what, if any, observations did you make beyond his face as far as sort of the rest of his body?
I don't recall really any other observations.
Recall how he was dressed?
I do not.
Do you recall any, what, if any, snow was on any other part of his body?
I do not.
Now, as far as Mr. O'Keefe was concerned, what, if any, observations did you make as far as any injuries to Mr. O'Keefe at that initial time?
I did not recall any injuries.
So nothing stood out to you, is that correct?
No, correct.
And you assist the fire department in getting him onto a backboard, correct?
Yes.
And where did Mr. O'Keefe go from there?
To the ambulance.
You go to the ambulance as well?
Not that I recall, no.
So fire department sort of takes over care of Mr. O'Keefe at that point?
Yes.
So after Mr. O'Keefe is lifted up, when he's lifted up, what, if anything, did you observe as far as the grounds that had been underneath Mr. O'Keefe and where he was?
I didn't recall anything. Observe anything? No. No.
Do you recall even looking sort of in that area?
No, I think he was in front of me, so I wouldn't have seen what was under him.
And so after Mr. O'Keefe is taken by members of the fire department over to the ambulance, what is it that you did?
Officer Sarif, at that point, we were trying to identify the victim, so I spoke to Ms. McCabe.
And without sort of anything that Ms. McCabe told you, about how long period of time did you talk to Ms. McCabe gathering it?
Approximately 2 minutes.
And who, if anyone else, did you speak with attempting to gather information regarding Mr. O'Keefe?
Ms. McCabe is the only one I recall speaking to.
Now, as far as the defendant, Ms. Reed, what, if anything, do you recall her sort of doing as you're on scene and as you're going about what you're trying to do?
She was screaming, is that my boyfriend? Is he dead?
When you say screaming in a fairly loud voice, correct?
Very, very loud, yes.
And as far as that sort of phraseology, as far as is he dead, how many times was that something she said? Once, more than once, or something?
Repeated many times.
And with the same sort of volume that she had said it with, as you described the first time?
Yes.
And as far as, if you know, about how long was the ambulance on scene before it left to go to the hospital?
10 minutes, approximately.
Do you know what hospital it went to?
Good Samaritan.
And after the ambulance left and went to the hospital, where did the three women that you're talking about, being the defendant, Ms. McCabe, Ms. Roberts, where did they go?
I believe they left the scene.
So did you have any, or what, if any, conversations did you have with any of them following that?
None.
Now, as far as Ms. Reed, the defendant, is concerned, what, if anything else, did you observe as far as her saying or her demeanor or anything like that?
Just the screams and she was very distraught.
Now, at some point, did Ms. Reed sort of stay in one place, or where did Ms. Reed go sort of around the cruisers and the ambulance and all of that?
I believe she went into one of the vehicles. I don't know if it was a cruiser or one of the cars to stay warm.
And the other two women that were with her, as far as Ms. McCabe, Ms. Roberts, were they in the same general vicinity as the defendant, or were they separated, if you recall?
I don't recall.
Now, at some point after they had left the scene, what, if anything, were you advised by your dispatch in regard to Ms. Reed?
We were dispatched that, or Cat Control had advised us that she's making suicidal statements.
And so based on that, what, if anything, did you or the other officers that you were on scene with do at that point?
I don't recall exactly who, but someone had called Ms. Roberts to have Ms. Reed come back to the scene, and we section 12 there.
And so about how much time elapsed between the time that you learned that from dispatch and the time that Ms. Reed arrives back on scene with Ms. Roberts?
5 minutes, approximately.
Now, you mentioned that there may have been other officers on scene, correct?
Yes.
So in addition to yourself and Officer Sarif, who, if anyone else from your department, arrived on scene while you were there?
Sergeant Good arrived, Sergeant Link at the time, and Lieutenant Gallagher.
And when was that in relation to when yourself and Officer Sarif arrived on scene?
Sergeant Good was there shortly after, and then Sergeant Link shortly after him, and then Lieutenant Gallagher after that.
And in total, as far as sort of the earliest to the longest, about how long was it until Lieutenant Gallagher arrived on scene?
I would say less than 45 minutes.
And in total, how long was it that you were on scene that morning?
90 minutes to 2 hours.
And during the course of time that you were on scene, at some point, did the sun come up?
Yes.
And during the time that you were on scene, as far as the conditions, and let me ask just a little bit more about that. You indicated something about snow being on the ground and not being able to see the curb, correct?
Yes.
What, if any, sort of other things in addition to that, from a weather perspective? What was the temperature out at that time?
It was very cold. It's cold.
Could you, or do you have any estimate as far as to how cold?
25, and it was windy.
And when you say windy, could you expound upon that as far as like what kind of wind? Are we talking constant wind, gusts, or something?
I would say gust to constant.
And fairly strong winds, light winds, what kind of?
Not necessarily strong, light winds, but it was definitely windy.
And during that sort of total time, about 90 minutes or so that you were on scene, was the weather consistent throughout that entire period that you were on scene?
That I recall, yes.
Now, in the area where you first observed Mr. O'Keefe's body on the lawn, after his body was removed by the fire department, what, if anything, did you observe sort of in that general area?
Nothing.
Now, again, you said that Ms. Reed was brought back to the scene or around Fairview Road at the same time by Ms. Roberts, correct?
Correct.
You know where she went from there?
She was transported to Good Samaritan.
Different ambulance than had taken Mr. O'Keefe?
Correct, different ambulance, yep.
Now, as far as Mr. O'Keefe was concerned, you assisted getting him onto the backboard, is that correct?
Yes.
You also assist getting him onto the stretcher?
Yes.
And beyond sort of the visual observations that you made, did you have occasion to, in that process, have any sort of tactile observations? Did you come into contact with Mr. O'Keefe's body at any point?
No.
Beyond what you've already testified to, did you make any other observations at any point of Mr. O'Keefe, his body, or any injuries?
No, not that I recall.
Sir, I'm going to direct your attention up to the screen over here. Ms. Gilman, if you could just put up Exhibit 25 and just sort of pause it as soon as it comes up. So, Officer Mulaney, I'm directing your attention to the screen and what's been marked as Exhibit 25. Generally speaking, what's depicted up on the screen here, is that consistent with what you recall as far as the conditions when you were responding to Fairview Road that morning?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. If I could ask for exhibit number. Yes. I'm sorry. Exhibit number 9. And Officer Mulaney, directing your attention to what's up on the screen, has been previously marked as exhibit number 9. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
What do you recognize?
That's 34 Fairview.
And that's how it's depicted in that photograph. Is that a relatively fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed of the residents on the morning of January 29, 2022?
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 18. And again, Officer Mulaney, what's up on the screen? Do you recognize what's depicted in exhibit 8?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that?
That's 34 Fairview.
That's sort of a different view, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with regard to the residents, if I'm standing on the street and I'm facing the residents, as in the previous photograph, the area of the lawn where you first observed Mr. O'Keefe laying on his back with his face up, would that be to the left of the residence, the right of the residence, or dead center, or something else?
Left.
And what, if anything, did you observe sort of in that general area as far as any sort of landmarks or things that were in that area?
A fire hydrant and a flagpole.
And may I approach the witness room?
Yes.
So, sir, reason that's what I'm going to try to find it, but this is a laser pointer, which we can push that button there.
Okay.
So, officer, if I could ask you, using that laser pointer, directing, if you could direct the jury's attention to where in that photograph, if anywhere, you recall Mr. O'Keefe's body being located when you first.
Right in this area.
Thanks. If I may have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
And officer, you can. Thanks. I have no further questions to this witness, Your Honor.
Right, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, now. This guy? Okay, let's see what he talking about. You know, this guy animated right here. This guy.
Good morning, officer.
He's dramatic.
Officer Mulaney, you and I have never met before, correct?
Correct.
We've never spoken about this case.
No.
Is it fair to say that when you were dispatched to 34 Fairview Road on January 29th of 2022, you were a part-time officer at that point?
No, it's full-time.
When did you start at the Canton Police Department?
July 2020.
Did you start as a part-time officer?
I did.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood your testimony. You actually became full-time in August of 2021.
Correct, sir. Yes.
All right. So you had been full-time at that point for about 6 months when you received this call, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's fair to say that you were the junior officer on scene?
Yes, it is.
You had testified that you approached Fairview from the Cedar Crest side, correct?
Yes.
34 Fairview Road is much closer to the Cedar Crest side than it is to the Chapman side, correct? And when you take a left on Cedar Crest to enter Fairview Road, 34 Fairview is the second house on the right. Does that make sense?
From Cedar Crest, yes.
Yes. And you were quickly surmising that whatever action was taking place there was taking place on the front lawn of 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of the first things that you saw was there appeared to be a woman giving CPR to somebody on the ground.
Yeah, yes.
You didn't know who that woman was at the time, correct?
No, sir.
But you later learned her identity.
Yes, I don't recall which female it was that was given CPR though.
Okay. So you don't recall that it was Karen Reed who was giving CPR to John O'Keefe?
I don't know who it was.
At some point in time, you came in contact with Karen Reed, correct, while you were on scene?
Not direct contact, but I was on scene when she was there.
I mean, you were there until about 8 a.m., correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And you were dispatched shortly after 6 a.m., correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You were there for approximately 2 hours, correct?
Yes.
You were there when Karen Reed was there when you showed up, correct?
Yes.
She left and she came back to the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you were there when she came back, correct?
Yes, sir.
So with regard to your contact with her, she certainly was within eyeshot, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you actually at some points were closer to her than you are to me right now, correct?
Yeah.
How close did you get to her?
10 feet.
All right. With the court's permission, I'd like to walk toward you and have you stop me when I'm at the point when you were at your closest to Karen Reed. Can I do that, Your Honor?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Right there.
Okay. And when you were this close to her, and you're estimating this to be about 10 feet, correct?
Sure.
When you were this close to her, was there anything blocking your view of her face?
Not that I recall.
All right. You noticed, obviously, that she had blood on her face, correct?
I did not notice that, no.
You didn't notice that she had blood in her hair?
I did not notice that.
You did notice that she was absolutely hysterical.
Yes.
She was completely distraught.
Yes.
She appeared to be in shock.
Yes.
And there was a contrast between that demeanor that you observed with regard to Karen Reed and the demeanor of one of the other women on scene, Jennifer McCabe. Was there not?
Can you kind of explain further?
Sure. Karen Reed was screaming, correct?
Yes.
She was yelling, correct?
Yes.
She was hysterical and distraught, correct?
Yes.
Jennifer McCabe was not.
Correct.
And you actually had more contact, direct contact with Jennifer McCabe that morning, correct?
Yes.
And you spoke to Jennifer McCabe for a good 2 minutes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Face to face.
Yes, sir.
You were closer to Jennifer McCabe than you ever got to Karen Reed, correct?
Yes.
You were able to observe her demeanor.
Yes.
You were able to hear her tone of voice.
Yes.
You were able to hear how loudly she was speaking, correct?
Yes.
You were able to hear how quickly she was speaking.
Yes.
During those 2 minutes that you were face to face closer to Jennifer McCabe, she was not screaming, correct?
Correct.
She was not yelling.
Correct.
She was not hysterical.
Correct.
She was not distraught.
Yes.
She was calm.
Correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow it, but let's move on.
Jennifer McCabe didn't have any blood on her face, correct?
No.
And you didn't see any blood in Jennifer McCabe's hair, correct?
No.
Now, with regard to what you heard Karen Reed scream that morning, I just want to make sure I get your testimony correct. I believe on direct examination, you stated that she kept repeating two phrases, one being, "Is he dead?" and the second being, "That's my boyfriend," correct?
Yes.
And how many times do you think that she repeated those two phrases?
It's, quite a bit, more than 10.
Okay. Like almost too many times to count, really.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And each time she said, is he dead? What was her tone of voice?
Screaming very loudly.
Each time she said, is that my boyfriend? What was her tone of voice?
Same.
And you got there not long after Officer Saraf, correct?
Correct.
In any of during the time that you were on scene and you heard Karen Reed screaming and yelling in this distraught and hysterical manner, you never once heard her say, I did it, correct?
I did not.
You never once heard her say, it's my fault, correct?
I did not.
You never once heard her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, correct?
I did not.
If you had heard any of those statements, you would have recognized that those would have been important to note, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you would have noted those in your police report, obviously, correct?
Yes.
Because you know that when you're drafting a police report, you want to include all the important details, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you want to be precise and accurate, correct?
Yes.
And so you didn't put those statements in your report because you never heard those statements come out of Karen Reed's mouth.
Yes, sir.
Now, while you were on scene, at some point in time, you were asked to participate in a search for evidence on that front lawn, were you not?
I was standing by. I didn't directly search for anything that I recall.
All right, and when you say you were standing by the area where John O'Keefe's body had been, correct?
Yes.
And how close were you to that area?
I was like right off the curb at that point on the street.
How many feet from where the body had been?
10 to 12 feet.
Okay, so maybe about the same distance as when I walked toward you, around that distance?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And how much time did you spend around that distance from where John O'Keefe's body had been?
I don't recall.
You were there for 2 hours, correct?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that you were sort of in and around that area multiple times during that 2 hours?
Yes.
Did you ever see anybody put up any crime scene tape at all?
I don't recall that.
You recall other officers sort of searching that area, correct?
Yes.
And while you were near that area, you were certainly paying attention to it, correct?
Yes.
Did you see officers use any equipment to clear some of the snow in that area?
Yes, sir.
What did you see?
There was a leaf blower.
Where did that leaf blower come from?
I don't know.
Who had the leaf blower?
I believe it was Lieutenant Gallagher.
When did Lieutenant Gallagher arrive on scene?
45 minutes after I did, approximately. I don't recall the exact time.
And how big was that leaf blower?
Not too big. It was
Was it handheld or was it something that you pushed?
handheld.
And who used the leaf blower?
Lieutenant Gallagher.
At what area or on what area did he use that leaf blower?
The front lawn.
And would that have been around the area where John O'Keefe's body had been?
Yes.
And you were watching him as he did that, correct?
Yes.
What other officers were in that area sort of watching what was going on or participating in the search for what was going on?
I don't necessarily recall where everybody was, but I believe it would be Sergeant Link and Sergeant Good.
And they were superior officers, correct?
Correct.
And you understood that these brother officers of yours were looking for evidence, right?
Yes.
They were looking for clues about potentially what had happened to John O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
And you were paying attention too as they were doing their work, correct?
Yes.
You were looking for anything that might have been out of place, correct?
Yes.
If there was something large there that didn't appear to, be appropriate for a front lawn, you would have made note of that, correct?
Yes.
And if there was something small there, you would have still made note of that if it didn't appear to belong on a front lawn, correct?
Yes.
At any point in time, either before or after the leaf blower was taken out by Lieutenant Gallagher, did you see 45 pieces of bright red, black, and clear plastic pieces scattered all over the scene?
45?
I did not.
Did you find or see even one piece of broken plastic?
I did not.
45. $45 pieces.
Now, when you came to the scene, John O'Keefe was still lying on the ground, correct?
Yes.
4 to 5
Did you
or
see
45?
whether or not there were any blankets on scene?
No.
Did you know that one of the women on scene had a sister who lived in that very house?
I did not.
When you were speaking with Jennifer McCabe, at any point, did you learn whether she had actually gone into that house at all?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you see Jennifer McCabe approach that house at any point when you were on scene?
No.
Were you alerted at any point by anyone that she went into that house while you were on scene?
No.
Did you ever see Jennifer McCabe come out of that house with blankets or anything else that might comfort John O'Keefe?
No.
What was your state of mind regarding whether there were any first responders in that house?
I wasn't aware of that.
Nobody told you.
No.
You had testified that at one point you saw Karen Reed being escorted into a motor vehicle,
Yes.
and that was one of the women on scene, her motor vehicle?
Yes, it was either that or a cruiser.
All right.
Both kind of the same area.
But you'll agree with me, at no point in time did you see Karen Reed and Jennifer McCabe in a vehicle together?
Not that I recall, no.
And at no point in time did you ever hear Karen Reed ask Jennifer McCabe to Google anything?
No.
I may have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
He needs a moment. He needs a moment.
I have no further questions. Thank you, officer.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I guess he don't need a moment. I guess he don't need the moment no more. Now, this guy, what he's saying,
Officer Mullane,
seems truthful.
you've been to other scenes in which there is a deceased person on scene, family members or friends around?
Yes.
And of those other scenes, does everybody who's a friend or a family member of the person who is injured or deceased, do they all react the same?
No.
Is every single one of them screaming and yelling different things?
No.
And there were actually 3 women on scene that morning, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there was Jennifer McCabe, there was the defendant, Miss Reed, and there was Kerry Roberts, correct?
Correct.
And did you see any blood on Miss Roberts' face or hair?
No.
Okay. Was she screaming and yelling things and moving around the scene?
No.
Now, as far as the residence in 34 Fairview Road, did you see anybody go in or come out of that residence during the time that you were on scene?
No.
And as far as any of the other residences on the entire rest of the street, did you see any of the neighbors or anybody else come outside at any point in time?
I did not.
I have nothing further.
One question, if I might.
Okay.
Recross.
Sure.
And I don't mean to be a wise guy, sir, but did any of the other neighbors on the entire street have the body of a dead police officer on their front lawn?
Objection.
All right, so that's sustained. All right. You are all set, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, he knew he was going to say some
Folks,
slick.
it's 11
Yo.
o'clock. We'll take our morning recess, 15 minutes.
All right, let them take their morning recess, man. Man, listen. This guy seems pretty truthful. 45 pieces or 4 to 5 pieces? I'm still a little confused on how much they really saying. Interested. This 15 minutes. Oh, 15 minutes seems like a long time, man.
Next witness, please, Mr. Lally.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth.
Yeah. The leaf blower though. A leaf blower? I don't know if that's what you want to use, because wouldn't that like scatter evidence and stuff if you use a leaf blower on the crime scene? That don't sound like something to use, man. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll hear more about it later on. 45 for real? That's the number? Could you imagine 45 pieces and nobody saw nothing? Nobody seen not one piece? I don't know about that. That's a lot.
To call Mr. Timothy Nuttall to the stand. Face the clerk.
You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the evidence given to the court and jury in the case now and herein should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
You can stand or sit, whatever makes you more comfortable, sir.
And just bring that microphone down to you. Thank you.
How's that?
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Timothy Nuttall. Last name is Nuttall, Nuttall.
And what do you do for work, sir?
I'm a firefighter paramedic with the town of Canton.
And how long have you been a firefighter paramedic in the town?
I believe 5 years and coming up on 6.
And prior to working in that capacity with the town of Canton, what, if any, other employment have you had within sort of the same field as far as being a paramedic?
To back up significantly, I got my EMT certification when I was still in high school through CMTI out of Weymouth. They're now owned by Brewster Ambulance. From there, I was employed by Cataldo Ambulance. I worked primarily in the city of Chelsea, running BLS transfers and eventually 911 shifts in that city, in that area of the world, if you will. From there, I decided I liked it. I decided to enroll in paramedic school. I went to the same school I went for my BLS certification, back to CMTI. I obtained my paramedic right before I turned 21. I stayed in the same area, primarily in Chelsea, and eventually edged my way into Everett a little bit and worked up there for about 7 years. During that time, I decided to be enroll into fire suppression side of things. So I was hired by the town of Scituate. It was put through the Mass Fire Academy out of Stowe, class 268 in Stowe, and worked for the Scituate Fire Department for about 18 months, and then transferred to the Canton Fire Department in November of 2019.
Just a couple questions about what you had just spoken about. So when you use the term sort of BLS, what does that mean?
So in EMS, there's two kind of branches. BLS is basic life support, which is EMT basic. Smaller skill set, if you will. Still running 911 emergencies, but that was kind of the stepping stone to see if you could do the job, if you like the job, and then you can advance on to ALS, advanced life support, which is the paramedic side of things. That's a broader skill set, many more medications, many more interventions that we can perform in the field. Obviously, I enjoyed the BLS side, so I advanced to the ALS side.
Now, as far as starting with becoming an EMT, what, if any, I mentioned you went to a CMTI school, but what type of education do you require prior to getting any sort of graduating or certification or something like that? What are the classes like?
So it kind of runs the gambit for emergency medicine. You start mostly with anatomy and physiology, the human body, progresses down to how those illnesses can progress and the natures of illness. Once that's kind of understood, then we advance on to pharmacology and interventions, just basic interventions that you can do. And then the basic interventions are further progressed into more advanced interventions throughout the program. Once you complete your didactic portion, where all that is kind of in the books, you then progress to clinical time in hospital. I can't speak to the hours off the top of my head. I can't remember, but many hours in the hospital, and then you progress to your field ride time, where you're in the back of an ALS ambulance with a preceptor, performing those skills, being evaluated and being watched to make sure you're not causing any harm or going down the wrong treatment pathways. From there, once you complete that, you sit your national paramedic written. I'm a nationally certified paramedic, so I had to sit that written, and then finally a practical examination. And once you pass all that, you're certified to be a paramedic.
And so with respect to both your training as far as becoming an EMT and then your training as far as becoming a paramedic, there's sort of a written portion and a practical portion as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
You use the term in there as far as a preceptor. What exactly does that mean within your?
So a preceptor is a senior paramedic who's been practicing for, it varies from place to place, but the standard is usually 3 to 5 years, who will watch you to make sure that you're not, like I said, drifting down the wrong path in terms of treatment, making sure that your care is adequate and not doing any harm. My preceptors that I was with, they were medics in the city of Brockton, so they had been around for a little while, and they were excellent at what they did, and they taught me quite a bit. I learned quite a bit in my ride time from them. And
in your role, post getting your certification in regard to those, have you acted as a preceptor for other sort of younger, less experienced?
Yeah, so I was a field training officer for the Cataldo for a brief stint right before I left the company. And I am currently a field training officer for the town of Canton.
And with respect to those certifications, is that sort of like a one-time blessing in perpetuity, or is there a continuing educational recertification process?
Right now for the town of Canton, that's a bidded position. I submitted an application writing and I was selected. So I am currently on my group. I am our field training officer for my group, Group 2.
Okay, and my apologies, poor question on my part. I was asking sort of more in general. So beyond the sort of preceptor sort of faction of that, just in regard to, in general, being an EMT and a paramedic, as far as your certifications are concerned, is that something that you have to continue? Is there any sort of recertification process, and how often?
Oh, I apologize. Okay, yes. So every 2 years, we're required, both by the national component and the state component, to complete a certain amount of hours per year for your recertification. I actually just recently recertified in March. I can't speak to the exact number of hours, but there's a national component, state component, and a local component, and the trainings are quite in-depth.
Now, turning your attention to your work with the Canton Fire Department, how many fire stations are there within the town of Canton?
We have 2 fire stations.
Okay, and where are they located?
Station 1 is 99 Revere Street, and Station 2 is 7 Sassamon Street.
And when you're working with the Canton Fire Department, is there a typical kind of schedule or shift schedule that you're working on?
So my work schedule is I work 1 24-hour shift, 1 24-hour off, 1 24-hour shift on, and then 5 consecutive 24s off.
And as far as the 24-hour shift, what time to what time does that run with the Canton Fire?
For us, we report at 0800 to 0800.
So 8 a.m. to 8 a.m.?
Yes.
And within both of those station houses, how much sort of apparatus or how many different sort of vehicles and apparatus do you have within each of those station houses?
For Station 1, 99 Revere Street, we have Car 5 staffed with a captain. We have Engine 3 staffed with 1 lieutenant, 2 firefighters, and Ambulance 1, who is staffed with two firefighters. We do have a PB waiver, so we will run paramedic basic on Ambulance 1. However, that is primarily a double medic ambulance. And for Station 2, it's a very similar setup. It is Engine 4 with 2 firefighters and a lieutenant, and Ambulance 2 with the same setup as Ambulance 1. Both those stations also have ladders that run out of them, Ladder 1 and Ladder 2 respectively. And the crews from Ambulance 1 or Ambulance 2 will cross-band those ladders as needed.
Now, with respect, if I could turn your attention to January 28th into January 29th, sort of Friday into a Saturday. Do you recall 2022? Recall those days? Were you working one of those 2 days?
I was scheduled to work the morning of the 29th, I believe.
So you were scheduled to work essentially the morning, 8 a.m. on the 29th until 8 a.m. on the 30th? Right. And prior to, or the 28th sort of going into the 29th, what, if anything, were you aware of as far as weather that had been forecasted or that was reportedly coming?
I was aware that there was a significant storm, supposedly. Well, there was a significant storm coming through. I woke up very early that morning just to check. I took a peek outside of my house. I live in the city of Brockton. I noticed that the conditions it was starting to snow a little bit. So I got up early and got ready for work and left earlier than I normally do.
And about what time, which station were you assigned to on that?
I was at Station 1, 99 Revere Street, and I was on Ambulance 1 for the day.
And about what time did you arrive at Station 1?
Due to the inclement weather, I believe I arrived several hours early. I showed up to the station around 5:45, 5:50 that morning.
And around the time that you were driving from your home to Station 1 in Canton, what, if anything, did you note as far as sort of the driving conditions, visibility, anything else?
The snow was starting to accumulate. The roads, I drove through several towns, but the roads were starting to be treated, but they weren't pristine. There was obviously a buildup of snow starting on my ride, which was part of the reason I left early, just either to relieve people if they needed to get out before the storm really hit, or just to help them with snow removal.
And to that point, when it comes to sort of snow removal at the fire station, what, if any, sort of duties and responsibilities do yourself and the other firefighters have to in relation to snow removal around the station?
So we're responsible around the station to keep what we refer to as the apron clear of snow. The apron is where we back our fire trucks into and out of the station. So we remove all that ourselves. We have a plow truck. However, we'll also shovel walkways and stuff for the public if they need to get in. So that was one of the primary. The crew was actually outside removing snow when I pulled in to the station that morning.
And it may be pretty self-explanatory, but as far as the apron itself, why is it so necessary that the apron remain clear as far as snow is concerned?
Just to maintain a path for the emergency apparatus to get in and out in a timely manner.
Now, beyond sort of the snow accumulation that you noted on your way to work that day, what, if anything else, did you note as far as the weather conditions, whether it be temperature, winds, anything to that effect?
They were approaching blizzard conditions. It was windy. It was still very early in the morning, so it was quite dark, and it was windy and snowy. So we were approaching blizzard conditions, like I said.
And when you arrived there, did a call come into your station sometime around or shortly after 6 o'clock in the morning on the 29th?
Yeah, I arrived, as I previously stated, around 5:50. I had put my gear, my firefighting structural gear, out with Ambulance 1, just in the event that there was an emergency. And as I was doing that, the emergency tones went off for a medical.
you recall what was the report in regard to, what was the dispatch in regard to as far as the medical was concerned?
The overhead dispatch came in as a unresponsive male in a snowbank at 34 Fairview Road outside. Unclear any further information. So when that came on, we had one of the paramedics that morning and one of the firefighters who was a relatively new firefighter. I made the decision to step onto the ambulance to provide an extra set of hands as one of the more senior paramedics in the station at the time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, when you step onto the ambulance, you're essentially still sort of getting your gear on and getting dressed, right?
Correct. I was, as the tones were going off, and because I came in so early, I was still in civilian clothing. I had a Canton Fire t-shirt on. So I actually donned my turnout gear for that call.
And as far as the other individuals on that ambulance one that were going to that call as well, who were they?
So it was firefighter paramedic Anthony Flamati and firefighter EMT Matt Kelly.
And Mr. Kelly, he was sort of the less experienced one at that time, is that correct?
Correct.
So you get into the back of the ambulance and start going to the scene. Now, as far as other sort of vehicles or apparatus, who, if anyone, or what, if any, other sort of vehicles were dispatched on this call as well?
The initial dispatch was Canton Engine 3 and Canton Ambulance 1. Due to the severity of the call, depending on how it comes in, the shift commander, which is car 5, he will usually respond to any significant incident. So he also added himself to the call, just as a senior officer with us. So the final dispatch, I believe, was car 5, engine 3, and ambulance 1.
You know who was on engine 3 and who was in car
5? Car 5 was Captain Robry. Engine 3 was Lieutenant Greg Woodbury, firefighter Frank Walsh, and firefighter Katie McLaughlin.
As far as the ambulance 1 that you were in, obviously there's somebody driving and there's somebody in the front passenger seat, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So who was driving and who was in the front passenger?
I don't want to speak out of turn. I honestly can't tell you who was driving. I was in the back. I was in the back patient compartment of the ambulance, just because there's only 2 seats up front. So I hopped in the back.
And so when you're in the back of the ambulance and you're going to the call, what is it that you're doing in sort of preparation for arrival?
So as I previously stated, I came in early, so I was donning my turnout gear. I had my boots and structural firefighting pants on. So I finished putting those on and I put the rest of my gear in the back. And as we were driving to the scene of the incident, I started prepping the gear that we were going to need off the initial dispatch, an unresponsive male in the snow. So I grabbed our first in bag, which has miscellaneous medical supplies, some IV supplies, and interosseous drill kit. The airway bag, which has just a bottle of oxygen, and then quite a bit of airway management supplies and our cardiac monitor. So I had all of those prepped out and ready to go. So as soon as the ambulance was in park, we could step right out, ascertain what we had, and go from there. So when the ambulance arrived on scene, I had all 3 of those bags on my person, and we were able to, the entire ambulance crew was able to step out and provide patient care.
And as far as, if you know, approximately how much time elapsed between the time that you hear sort of the sound go off and you get in the ambulance to the time that you arrive on scene on Fairview?
I couldn't give you an accurate estimation of the time. Like I said, I was in the back. I was trying to prep everything and get myself kind of prepped just in terms of appropriate attire. So I couldn't give you a fair estimate.
And as far as when you arrive on scene, you step out of the back of the ambulance, is that correct?
Yes.
And as far as the weather conditions where you were on Fairview, what, if any, difference was there between the weather conditions there versus the weather conditions when you were arriving at the station?
I remember, as I previously stated, I remember it was still very dark. The sun was not up yet. I remember the wind. It was quite windy that morning. The wind had, in my opinion, had seemed to have picked up since my drive in, and the snow was increased.
And so when you step out of the ambulance, can you describe for the jury sort of where you go and sort of what is it that you first see when you get out there?
So I stepped out of the ambulance and came around with all 3 bags. I could hear commotion. I could hear some screaming off in the distance. I couldn't really tell you where it was coming from because it was still quite dark. Came around the passenger side of the ambulance, walked in front of the ambulance, and there was a small huddle of 3 individuals and what appeared to be a human form laying in the snow. So we made our way over to that and went from there.
And when you come around the passenger side of the ambulance and you observe that and start to, are you sort of turning left or right, or how are you heading when you come around the ambulance?
I came out of the ambulance on the passenger side and I took a left.
And you make your way over to the patient on the ground, is that correct?
Correct.
And as far as the other people that you observed around the patient, how would you, or what, if any, description do you have of those?
There were 3 individuals. I believe they were all 3 of them were female. My primary focus was the individual in the snow on the ground. I went right to him. I kind of bypassed everybody from there and went directly to that individual.
Is that sort of typically how you approach a scene, is just sort of tunnel vision right for the patient?
Typically on a call like that, where if somebody's unresponsive on the ground, you typically go directly to the patient and ascertain if they are breathing and if they have signs of life, because that is a time-sensitive matter.
And as far as the individual, not then, but at some point subsequent, did you learn the identity of the person on the ground?
It did. It was Officer O'Keefe, John O'Keefe.
And how was Officer Mr. O'Keefe's body positioned in relation to the ground when you first approached him?
So I found him supine, laying in the snow. Immediately went to him and checked him for signs of life. We found none. We found no breathing, no pulse. So we immediately began performing high quality CPR. I was at the head of the individual, so I immediately grabbed out of our airway bag a bag valve mask and began ventilating the patient, trying to get some oxygen into him while the others on scene, like I said, began high quality CPR.
And again, maybe pretty well understood, but when you use the term supine, what exactly do you mean?
He was laying on his back.
Laying on his back, his head sort of facing up, is that correct?
Correct.
And when you are responding to a call of this nature, there's you and there's other individuals on the ambulance as well, correct?
Correct.
And is there a certain division as far as treatment and diagnosis and things of that nature are concerned between you and the other people on the ambulance?
So typically, just to use the scenario of a cardiac arrest with 2 paramedics, it's generally split into the airway individual or the airway monitor and the, lack of a better term, code monitor. The airway individual will be responsible for ventilation and eventually advanced airway placement. The other part of that equation will monitor cardiac status, cardiac activity. They will deliver medications and a route for those medications, and they will work together to monitor that patient throughout. As I said, I was on the head. I just happened to fall at the head. So I took the ventilation portion of that.
And you use the term as far as a bag valve mask, is
Yep.
that correct?
Correct.
Can you explain to the jury sort of what that is?
All that is it's, for lack of a better term, it's basically a glorified balloon with a mask on it. When you squeeze that bag, that forces air into the airway, so you can ventilate an individual who is no longer breathing on their own.
And as far as obviously with your work with the fire department, there are sort of records or reports that are written in regard to treatment of different individuals on any given call, correct?
Correct.
Is there an acronym that's used within those reports as far as bag valve masks?
BVM.
And turning back to sort of when you initially approach where Mr. O'Keefe is, if you know about how far away from, where is he in relation to, well, let me back up. Okay. So you arrive at this residence at 34 Fairview Road, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So if I'm standing on the street and I'm facing Fairview Road, is Mr. O'Keefe's body to the left, to the right, center, or something?
I would say to the left of center.
And what, if anything, did you sort of note or observe sort of in the general area as far as where Mr. O'Keefe was?
In terms of when I got to him?
Yes.
So when I first got to him, we checked for signs of life, and I was, as stated, at the head. There was a small pool of blood that seemed to be underneath him. It was hard to ascertain, again, because of the conditions. It was still very dark. It was snowing, and it was quite windy. So we were able to check the area as best we could with our handheld lights. But that was one of the things that I noted. There was a pool of blood.
Now, where Mr. O'Keefe's body was in relation to the roadway, if you know, how far away, where was it in relation to the roadway?
I estimated it about where the sidewalk met the front lawn of that residence. That would be my best estimation.
Do you have any estimate as far as footage or anything like that?
I would say about 6-8 feet, perhaps.
That's approximately 6 to 8 feet from the curb.
Correct.
So you indicated that sort of what are the first things that you're checking as far as when you first arrive at a patient for this kind of?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
That's okay. That's okay. It's my fault. So as far as when you, let me back you up for just one second. You use the term in there as far as cardiac arrest, correct?
Correct.
Can you explain to the jury what you understand that term to mean based on your training and experience?
So cardiac arrest is the cessation of a stable cardiac rhythm in terms of life. Typically, it's either asystole, pulseless electrical activity, or VFib or VTAC. Typically, you ascertain that, but there's no pulse. You check any of the pulses, be it a femoral pulse, a carotid pulse, or a radial pulse, you will find nothing. And when that is found, you go to life-saving measures, which is CPR.
And just in reference to one other term you used in there as far as asystole, if you could explain to the jury what you understand that term to mean based on your training.
Asystole, to put it as clear as I can, is a flat line. There's no electrical activity in the heart.
And so you're working sort of at the head of Mr. O'Keefe, is that correct?
Correct.
And sort of while he's still on the ground, and what is it that you're specifically sort of doing in reference to your treatment?
So I was, as we talked about earlier, I had a BVM, bag valve mask, and I had Mr. O'Keefe, I was ventilating him. So I had the mask on his face, and I was giving him positive pressure breaths with that BVM.
And as you're doing that, what, if anything else, did you observe beyond sort of the blood pooling you've already talked about, as far as any tactile observations you made of Mr. O'Keefe, any visual observations you made of Mr. O'Keefe at that point outside of the ambulance?
He was dressed for the weather. He had several layers on. Other than that, our primary focus was kind of getting him extricated and out of the elements, just because it was, as stated, conditions were suboptimal, and we wanted to get him into an environment with better lighting and some heat, so we could further assess if he had any injuries and go from there.
And so the other firefighters, paramedics, excuse me, that are on the ambulance with you, while you're doing sort of the bag valve mask at his head, what, if anything, are they doing?
I believe the other firefighters that were dispatched, they were getting extrication equipment. I believe we put this individual on what we refer to as a scoop stretcher, which is basically a long plastic stretcher that we can roll an individual onto and then just pick him up, just for our safety and the safety of the patient. It's just really just a long board that we can pick up and then put onto our ambulance stretcher. So somebody was grabbing the scoop stretcher, somebody else was grabbing the ambulance stretcher, and I believe that was a coordinated effort on their part.
And I apologize for keep going back and forth, but if I could take you back just one moment before that. So when you first sort of arrived to Mr. O'Keefe, you mentioned that there were 3 females sort of huddled around. Is that correct?
Correct.
What, if anything, did you observe any of those females doing with respect to Mr. O'Keefe when you first got there?
That group seemed to be agitated. There was it was a scene of heightened emotions. As I stated, when I stepped out of the ambulance, I could hear screaming, I could hear people yelling, and it seemed just to be that group was just quite agitated.
Now, at some point, you are able to get him on the scoop stretcher and then over to the ambulance, correct?
Correct.
And when you get to the ambulance, what, if anything, did you note as far as what, if any, difference was there in the lighting in the back of the ambulance versus on the front lawn?
The lighting was significantly better. All of our ambulances have fluorescent lighting in the ceiling of the ambulance, so those were on, and we were able to see that there was some more injuries once we were able to get him out of his winter clothing.
And so, to that point, when you sort of first get into the back of the ambulance, what is sort of the protocol? What is it that each of you are sort of doing with respect to patient care at that?
So the biggest priority is continuous high quality CPR. And that is the biggest thing with any cardiac arrest is uninterruption of compressions. So when we got him into the back of the ambulance, we continued CPR throughout. So while multiple people were performing CPR and eventually a mechanical CPR device was applied, those compressions were uninterrupted and others were removing clothing, I honestly couldn't tell you the number of articles of clothing, but I believe a winter jacket and a sweatshirt were removed. And then eventually he was, all the clothing was removed, and that's protocol for any cardiac arrest or any traumatic injury is usually all clothing is removed so we can have unfettered access to the individual to see if there are any other injuries.
And why is that the protocol?
You mentioned earlier, sir, that there is tunnel vision. The absence of clothing kind of helps to remove that so you can see everything. You can assess everything.
And you mentioned sort of a mechanical means of CPR. Is there a specific device that's used for that?
Yes, we use a Lucas device manufactured by Stryker. And for lack of a better term, it's basically just a plunger that does CPR. It frees up a set of hands for us, and that can provide CPR uninterrupted as long as the batteries last.
Now, at the time that you get him get Mr. O'Keefe into the back of the ambulance and you removing some of the clothing, what, if anything, did you note at that time or at any subsequent time in regard to footwear?
To be candid, I wasn't really looking at the footwear. I believe it was brought to my attention when we eventually transferred patient care at Good Samaritan Medical Center that the individual was missing a shoe. However, that wasn't my primary focus at the time.
And the items of clothing that were removed from within the ambulance, eventually when you transfer that patient care to the hospital, what, if anything, happens with that?
In terms of the chain of custody of the clothing, that is typically brought in either with the individual or after, and that is usually deposited on the floor of the room where that patient is, and then the hospital takes custody of it. Occasionally we'll put it in bags. However, I could not speak to where that clothing went on this case.
But fair to say whatever clothing was taken off in the ambulance left the ambulance at some point?
Correct.
Went to the hospital, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you have Mr. O'Keefe in the back of the ambulance and the lighting is better, what, if anything, did you observe following sort of the removal of the clothing as far as what, if any, injuries did you observe to Mr. O'Keefe in that sense?
He was noted to have, and I was right at the head, he was noted to have a hematoma on the right side of his face, just above his eye on his forehead. And there was some scratches on the right arm, right, the upper arm.
And use the term as far as a hematoma. Could you explain what you understand that term to me?
Lack of a better term is just an egg. He had a pretty good egg on his head.
Egg. Wow.
And as far as anything beyond that, did you observe anything or note anything beyond the egg on the head and the scratches on the right arm?
As we got further down our treatment modality, we went to place an advanced airway. It was noted to have some blood, some mucus, and some bile in the back of his airway that was then suctioned out before we placed our endotracheal tube.
And what is an endotracheal tube?
So an endotracheal tube is basically, it's just a plastic tube that is passed through the mouth into the trachea through the vocal cords. It's a definitive airway, if you will. It isolates the trachea so you can better ventilate your patient, and you don't have to worry about any air getting into the stomach, any gastric insufflation. And that is the gold standard for cardiac arrest, is a properly placed endotracheal tube.
Mentioned there were some substances that were suctioned from his airway. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. What were they again? I'm sorry.
I believe it was blood, bile, and mucus.
And do you have any idea how much of that was suctioned?
I couldn't give you an exact number, but it was enough that we needed to set up a suction system to remove it before we intubated.
Just turning briefly again to the arm. These were injuries that you observed on his right arm. Is that correct?
Correct.
What, if any, injuries did you observe on his left arm?
I don't believe I saw any, to my knowledge.
And as far as your memory, as far as his right arm, how far did it sort of extend and where was it located? Sort of upper arm, lower arm, both, or where was it?
I believe it was just below his shoulder. They ran, I would say, probably 3 or 4 inches from, I would say, about the shoulder right down to maybe 2 inches above the elbow.
And as far as Mr. O'Keefe's nose, what, if any, observations did you make of that?
Initially, it was noted to be very cold. The individual was cold all around to the touch, but his nose was also quite cold, quite white, just because he had been in the elements for a little while. There appeared to be a little bit of blood on his nose as well.
And through your training experience, are you familiar with a term or a device known as an OPA?
Correct, yes.
Can you explain to jury sort of what OPA stands for and what is that device? What does it do?
So an OPA, or oral pharyngeal airway, is basically a small plastic device that is curved. And when inserted into the mouth, all it does is it prevents the tongue from falling backwards into the airway and occluding the airway. It's relatively simple, but it's very effective in keeping an airway open.
Just turning back for one moment to the injuries that you observed on Mr. O'Keefe's right arm, were those injuries that were actively bleeding at the time that you observed them?
No.
What, if anything, did you observe as to that in reference to those injuries on the arm?
Those injuries seem to have been congealed. In my opinion, it looked like they had been cold, which could have aided in the clotting of those injuries. But when we observed them, they were not bleeding.
And you mentioned a little bit about Mr. O'Keefe's nose. What, if any, observations did you make as far as any sort of digits, whether they be his hand, his feet, or something else?
So all of his digits on the upper extremities were noted they were very cold. They were immobile. They were very stiff. I'm presuming due to the exposure, because when we got him onto the ambulance, when we were removing clothing, it was noted that all of his digits were very stiff. They were immobile, and it caused a little bit of problems just trying to get clothing off of him, just because they were so stiff.
And taking you back outside of the ambulance just for a moment, when you're sort of initially there and you're doing your assessment and the 3 females are in your general area, correct?
Correct.
And at some point, you or any of the other paramedics or EMTs on scene asked them any questions about what had happened or anything like that?
So as I was ventilating at the head, there was a small delay in just getting equipment, nothing significant, just enough time that as I was ventilating, I was able to ask, did anybody see anything? What happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him.
What?
And
Whoa. Y'all hear that? I wonder what would be his reason to, say something that didn't happen. I don't know if he has a reason to lie. What? I wonder who said that.
Was a small delay in just getting equipment, nothing significant, just enough time that as I was ventilating, I was able to ask, did anybody see anything? What happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him.
And did you know that individual at that time?
I did not.
Can you describe the individual that said that?
I would describe her as mid-40s, average build, average height. And the other 2, very similar.
And with reference to that statement of I hit him, is that something that she said once or more than once or something?
It was several times.
And as far as the tone or demeanor, how loudly was this being said?
As previously stated, they seemed to be erratic. There was a lot going on in that scene. It did seem to be said over and over and at varying volumes. And then there was just a lot of, everybody appeared to be quite flustered.
And the individual, one of the 3 females that said that, what, if any, observations did you make as to her face or anything?
The individual that said, I hit him, appeared to have some blood on her face, presumably for attempting CPR prior to our arrival.
And you say presumably attempting CPR. When you first arrived at Mr. O'Keefe, what, if anything, did you observe any of the females doing with reference to Mr. O'Keefe?
Mr. O'Keefe was not being touched by any individual when I first got to him. That whole group was kind of pacing around, lack of a better term, kind of running around in circles. But Mr. O'Keefe was not being, there was no interventions being done to Mr. O'Keefe when I got to him.
And to be clear, sort of when you're in the back, fast forwarding now to sort of in the back of the ambulance, you're, again, sort of focused on the respiratory in the head, correct?
Correct.
And who, if anyone else from your apartment is in the back of the ambulance, and what, if anything, are they doing at that point?
So at that point, I had myself and Nat Kelly, EMT Kelly. He was kind of with me for the head. One of the, for lack of a better term, easier operations of a cardiac arrest is ventilation. So Matt Kelly was assisting me with ventilations, is just squeezing the BVM to provide ventilation. The lead paramedic for the cardiac arrest was Anthony Flamati. He was running everything else. He was running the application of the cardiac monitor. He was monitoring the status of medications being administered. He was assisted with that by Katie McLaughlin, Lieutenant Woodbury, and Firefighter Walsh.
And at some point, if Firefighter Flamati, at this point that you're in the back of the ambulance, you don't have any sort of demographic information in regard to your patient, correct?
Correct.
So what, if anything, did Firefighter Flamati ask anybody else to do in regard to obtain?
I believe he asked Firefighter McLaughlin to exit the ambulance and gather some information from the bystanders in terms of name, date of birth, any significant medical history or medications, just so we could further treat the patient.
And to the best of your knowledge, Firefighter McLaughlin leaves the ambulance to do that, is that correct?
Correct.
You weren't present for any of that, correct?
No.
So there's some period of time in the back of the ambulance and then the transport to Good Samaritan happens, is that correct?
Correct.
You recall where different people from your department were in relation to that transport to the hospital?
So the transport in the back in the patient compartment was myself, firefighter Kelly, and firefighter Flamati, with firefighter McLaughlin driving ambulance 1.
I have just one moment.
Yes.
So when it comes to the report that you were testifying about before, there was a report generated in regard to this, is that correct?
Correct.
And who has the sort of duty and responsibility of compiling that?
That would have been Anthony Flamati.
And have you seen firefighter Flamati's report in relation to this incident?
I have.
May I approach the witness, John?
Yes.
So, John, your document actually just review that and we'll look up when you finish.
All right.
Do you recognize that, sir?
I do.
And what do you recognize that?
This is what I believe to be the NFIRS report written by Captain Robery and the patient care report written by firefighter Flamati.
Thank you, sir. May I approach, John?
Yes.
I'm open to seek to introduce and admit the next exhibit, I believe.
It's already pre-marked, or you're moving to introduce it now? Is there an objection?
I may have just one going.
Okay.
No objection.
Patient care report. And
All right, that will be marked, Madam Court Reporter, please.
And
thank you very much.
Officer, if I could ask for the lights in the little. And Ms. Gilman, if I could have what's been previously marked as exhibit number 9. Mr. Nuttall, just directing your attention up to the screen there and what's been previously marked as exhibit number 9. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
I do.
What do you recognize that?
I believe that to be 34 Fairview Road.
Is that a relatively fair and accurate portrayal of what it looked like around the time that you arrived there, absent sort of lighting conditions and things of that nature?
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 18. May I approach the witness, Sean?
Yes.
Basically that button on top there.
All right.
And Mr. Nuttall, if I could ask you, using that laser pointer before you, well, first let me ask, do you recognize what's up on the screen as exhibit 18?
Yeah. Again, 34 Fairview Road.
And the area where you first observed Mr. O'Keefe supine on the lawn and the 3 females around him, you see that area in this photograph?
I do.
And if you could, using that laser pointer, just direct the jury's attention to where in this photograph you have it.
I'm so sorry. I would say right around this general area, right about here.
And lastly, Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 14. And again, sir, do you recognize what's up on the screen as exhibit number 14?
I do.
What do you recognize that?
That I believe to be is where we found Mr. O'Keefe.
And as far as the pooling of the blood that you observed around Mr. O'Keefe's head, do you observe that area within this photograph as well?
Yes.
But again, using that laser pointer, just directed jury's attention to where in this photograph you observe that.
They were right around in this general area. There.
Thank you. Mr. Officer, we can have the lights back up. Your Honor, may I approach just to retrieve that?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know. All right now, let's see what the defense gonna do.
Afternoon, firefighter Nutter.
Sir, how are you?
You were coming up, I want to make sure I get the timing right. You were coming off of nearly a 24-hour shift when you got the call?
No, sir. I was reporting for duty that morning.
Just starting the shift when you got the call. Understood. I want to ask one quick question that you mentioned just a couple of seconds ago under questioning by Mr. Lally. With regard to the clothing, the normal protocol for clothing that's removed from a patient.
Yes.
You said it's oftentimes just sort of discarded onto the floor.
In terms of in the ambulance or at the hospital?
Either one.
Yes.
Okay. Both?
So typically, when we remove clothing in the back of the ambulance, it's generally done with trauma shears. So we will expose and then kind of fold over. That clothing is then usually left in place. We'll do a quick roll just to check the back of the patient, and then he's usually rolled back if there's nothing found, and it's typically left there. In terms of like big puffy jackets, if you cut a puffy jacket, it just makes quite the mess. So yeah, exactly. It's a disaster. So typically those bigger jackets are just removed, and that is when we removed that type of article of clothing, that's when we noticed that his hands were quite rigid.
So that's what happened in this case.
Correct.
You removed the big heavy jacket, discarded it, got it away from the body so you could better assess the injuries.
Correct.
And it was only then, after you removed this big heavy winter coat, that you could assess that his hands were stiff and cold.
We noted the hands, but it came more into light, if you will, when we removed that coat.
Got it. And you have as good a memory about that as you do the rest of the scene that morning.
In terms of removing the article of clothing?
Correct.
I did not remove any article of clothing. I was ventilating.
But you remember him having the big jacket on?
Correct.
Okay. And you remember that as well as you remember the other specifics of the incident?
Yes.
Okay. When responding to a scene, I want to dovetail on the same subject, but just come at it in a little bit different way, if you would indulge me. When responding to a scene, one of your jobs has to be to sort of immediately take note of and assess the situation of the patient that you're dealing with, correct? A motorcycle accident is going to be very different than a drowning.
Exactly.
Someone, in this case, exposed in a snowbank, you're going to deal with or assess and note the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
You're also going to note and assess the condition of the patient.
Correct.
As it pertains to the weather.
Yes.
So someone, for instance, that's in a snowbank naked,
mm-hmm.
no clothes on at all, is going to be a little bit different assessment than someone who's completely dressed for winter, correct?
The initial assessment with every patient is going to be automatically circulation, airway, breathing.
Understood.
We approached this individual the exact same way. Is automatically went directly to cardiac. Make sure.
I guess what I'm asking is your attention is focused on some of those details for sure.
Correct.
All right. And that's how you remember that big heavy coat that he was wearing, correct?
I remember he was appropriately dressed. Correct.
Okay. As a matter of fact, you testified to that in the grand jury that, quote unquote, he had a heavy coat on.
Yes.
Consistent with how you're testifying today. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. Your Honor, I'd like to mark 2 photographs as next in order. These have not yet been marked. I believe it would be 160.
It doesn't matter so much the number, but why don't you just show the prosecutor the photos?
161 and 162 in order. May I approach?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you, first of all, whether or not you recognize what's depicted in those photos.
Honestly, sir, I couldn't recall the exact, but yeah.
You do recognize them?
Yes.
Does that appear to be what John O'Keefe is wearing? You found?
I don't recall, sir, to be perfectly honest.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Do you recall this being part of, let me ask you a different way. Do you remember somebody cutting this off of John O'Keefe at the time?
I remember the clothing being removed.
Okay, but you don't remember this clothing?
I could say that he had clothing removed, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it was.
And you've just looked at these. This, what I'm holding in my hand, appears to be the front and back of a...
So don't hold it up to him from that distance where he said he doesn't recognize it. You can put it back in front of him.
Okay.
Don't hold it up for the jury, please.
May I?
Yes.
You?
That appeared to be a thin cotton hoodie.
Yeah, that appears to be a thinner layer of clothing.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
Not a heavy coat. Is that fair?
Fair.
Not a winter jacket.
Fair.
Interesting. You don't know the difference between a heavy coat and a regular hoodie?
Is it fair to say you had a lot on your mind when you were out at that scene, correct?
In terms of just the
saving a man's life.
Correct.
That's your credentials are impressive. You were there focused on one thing, and that is trying to make sure that a man did not die.
Correct.
Would you agree that that was your primary concern and your primary focus the entire time you were at the scene?
Correct.
You weren't necessarily worried about what other individuals were doing, correct?
No.
If I asked you right now off the top of your head, tell me exactly the number of law enforcement officers that were there at the scene, probably couldn't tell me, could you?
No.
If I asked you whether or not you remember every single civilian that was at the scene, probably couldn't tell me, correct?
Outside of the 3?
Outside of the 3?
Correct.
Any other civilians?
Not that I noted.
Okay. Matter of fact, you can't even identify the 3 civilians other than generally middle-aged, 40s, Caucasian, female.
Correct.
You said all 3 of them sort of looked alike, right?
Without the only defining feature on one of the individuals was one of the individuals did have blood on their face.
So some of the specifics of that scene you didn't pay special note to, correct?
No, we were focused on patient care.
Is it fair to say that, specifically as it pertains to what the victim was wearing, your memory might be a little faulty where that's concerned?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, nothing wrong with that. You were focused on something completely different.
Correct.
You did notice certain injuries on Mr. O'Keefe's person, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated on direct examination that once you got him into the back of the ambulance, you, as you put it, you had a quote unquote much better picture of what you were dealing with. Is that right?
Correct.
You testified at the grand jury that you noted that once he was in the back of the ambulance, under better lighting, you were able to tell that he had trauma to the right side of his head.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Are you talking about the major trauma that he suffered to the back of his head or the egg that you earlier described?
I was more just because it was directly in front of me. It was on the front side of his head.
Okay. So it wasn't the right side of his head. If you said right side of your head, you might point above your ear, right?
Correct.
That's not
Yes.
what you're talking about.
I was, and if, to use my person, I would say right here. So more towards the right, above his right eye.
Right of center, but still on the front of his head.
Correct.
And you did not make any note of another injury on the back of his head.
No.
You talked about the injuries to the right side of his arm, correct?
Correct.
You noted that those injuries appeared to be scratches.
Yes.
That's your word, not mine, right?
Correct.
You didn't say that those were blunt force trauma.
No.
You didn't say that they were abrasions.
Scratches and abrasions, in my point of view, seem to go hand in hand.
But the word that you used was scratches.
Yes, they were like furrows down.
Say that again?
Furrows, if you will, for lack of a better term. Just.
I don't understand that word.
So if you remove something,
Yes.
like you create a furrow in the skin, is that?
Furrows.
Yes, there you go. Sorry, excuse my accent.
Oh, no. I'm on your turf.
Fair enough.
It's my accent. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
Boy, that one.
Like,
It's
excuse
going to
me.
be a meme somewhere.
Hey, my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, got it. All right.
again?
So when you said furrows, you made your hand in almost like a claw and drug it against your right biceps.
Objection.
Sustained.
Can you repeat the movement that you did for the jurors when you said furrows?
Objection.
Sustained. Just move on to the next question, please.
You would agree that a very common cause of a hematoma over one's eye is being hit or punched.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
You said that Mr. O'Keefe did have such a hematoma over his right eye, correct?
Yes.
Did you also see a laceration under the eyebrow but above the lid on his right eye?
I don't recall.
Did you see a laceration on Mr. O'Keefe's nose?
I don't recall.
You did note that there was some blood on his nose, correct?
Correct.
Is that possible that that came from a small laceration?
Yes.
In your experience, well, let me ask another question. Did it look like he had, in addition to the egg on the right side of his head, in the front, did it also have a black eye on the left side?
If memory serves correct, yes.
So both eyes were blackened.
Primarily the right side, if memory serves.
Okay. And the laceration toward the right side
Yes.
of the right eye. Are those injuries that you just described consistent or inconsistent with some sort of physical altercation?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Wow.
Did it appear to you, just from your initial assessment, given your experience, training, and background, that those injuries looked like he had been in a fight?
Objection.
I'll see counsel at sidebar.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Cause man. I think he should have used a different set of words instead of fight at that when he rephrased it. He should have said, did it look like he had some kind of like something physical? Worded in a way where like, did it look like he came in contact with some kind of something physical? Did it look like something physical came in contact with his face? Did it look like something came in contact with his face? Did it seem like his face came in contact with something? Yo, she she ain't playing with him. She see what he trying to do. Objection, Your Honor.
Someone tell me. Thank you.
Sir.
A little break. In your experience as obviously a training firefighter, tell me the word again that you used.
Field training officer or preceptor.
Thank you. As a field training officer, have you seen in your experience the product or the injuries that can be produced from fistfights?
Yes.
Okay. Injuries to the face?
Yes.
Injuries to the mouth?
Yes.
Injuries to the nose?
Yes.
The ears?
Yep.
To the eyes? Defensive wounds on the hands?
Yes.
Did you note we've already talked about, and I don't want to go over all this again. You've already noted what the injuries to the face were that you saw Mr. O'Keefe having suffered.
Yes.
Were those consistent or inconsistent with a physical altercation?
I couldn't say.
Were they consistent or inconsistent with being in a fight?
I couldn't say.
Was that egg over his right eye consistent or inconsistent with him having been punched or hit?
I couldn't say.
I thought you said that one of the common causes of an egg like that, a hematoma, as you put it, over someone's eye, is being hit or punched.
There's quite a few reasons that somebody could get an egg, such as that over their head. You could get hit with a golf ball.
Of course.
For instance.
I'm not asking you to the exclusion of everything else. I'm asking you, is it consistent?
It's consistent. It could be.
Okay. And the other injuries as well?
Correct.
Okay. Did you see bruising to the back of one or both of his hands?
His hands were, as stated, they were very cold and very white. They were not well perfused. And when you don't have adequate perfusion, swelling and smaller injuries don't typically present themselves.
Bro, did you see
if you will.
bruising?
So you may not have seen it.
Correct.
But the bruising may have been there.
It might have been there. It just wasn't observable just due to the condition of his hands.
Just may have overlooked it.
Yes.
Okay. You indicated that you were not present when your colleague, Katie McLaughlin, was questioning anybody at the scene, correct?
Correct.
She was tasked with that responsibility, but you did not engage with her.
Correct.
Meaning, when I say engage with her, you weren't standing there with her.
No, I was in the back of the ambulance.
Okay. You claim to have heard this statement, I hit him,
yes,
several times from the woman with blood on her face.
Correct.
You indicated that she was erratic.
Correct.
Hysterical.
Correct.
You said, for lack of a better term, running around in circles.
Yes.
She seemed despondent or distraught.
Very distraught.
Very upset.
Yes.
Was she saying anything else that you recall?
To me, I heard I hit him, and then I went back, obviously continuing on patient care, focusing on patient care.
Did you hear her say, could I have hit him?
I heard I hit him.
That's what you believe at this point?
That's what I heard.
Okay. Where exactly were you?
I was crouched at the head of Mr. O'Keefe.
Okay. You were asked that exact question at the grand jury, correct? To describe where you were and who was doing what?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. You were asked a question when you spoke to her and she said, I hit him. Were you with the other representatives, sir, there at the time? Were there other people around you? You remember being asked that question by a grand juror?
I don't recall.
Do you remember answering, no, there were other people around me. I had paramedics Flamati with me. I believe firefighter Kelly was there as well.
Correct. So the three of us were all providing patient care around Mr. O'Keefe.
And you indicated that we were all there together. You were kneeling and you were doing the airway while you called him Tony. That's
Anthony, Tony. Yes.
All right. He was doing the CPR, correct?
Correct.
And it's absolutely clear in your mind that when that statement was made, you were knelt down over Mr. O'Keefe. Flamati was doing CPR. Kelly was with you guys, and you posed the question to her, do you know him? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to make sure I understand this. You said, as you're knelt down, do you know him, directly to the female, and she answered your question with, I hit him.
Yes.
But that's not what you told Trooper Proctor in a February 8th interview.
Okay. I don't recall what I told Trooper Proctor.
Let's start at the beginning. Do you remember having a conversation with Trooper Proctor on February 8th?
I do.
That was obviously much closer in time than your grand jury testimony, correct?
Correct.
And years closer in time than your testimony now.
Correct.
Do you recall on February 8th telling Trooper Proctor that while you were rendering aid, you heard Karen say, I hit him, to another female on the scene?
To another female, as I stated, I heard several times I hit him. In terms of who that was directed towards, I mean, again, focused on patient care.
Understood. My question was a little bit different. Do you recall telling Trooper Proctor specifically that while you were rendering aid, you heard Karen say, "I hit him," to another female on the scene. And the other female told Karen to be quiet.
I do recall that.
Okay. That's not what you testified to today, though.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that story has changed to you posed a question and she answered your question. Correct?
Correct.
So which is it?
So when ventilating a patient, typically, that is also used to gather information from bystanders, because as I'm ventilating, I can real quick look around. Do you know this individual? Do you know anything about this individual? That's fairly typical for any scenario in this. It's a very quick information gathering strategy.
Answer the question.
But you'll agree that your testimony today has changed from what it was from your statement to Trooper Proctor on February 8th.
I don't know if it would so much say change, sir. To be honest, I don't fully recall that meeting with Mr. Proctor.
I'm sorry.
I remember meeting with him. However, I don't fully remember what was discussed.
So it's fair to say that your memory is a little bit faulty as it pertains to that time frame.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our lawyers is good, man. Our lawyers is good. You're under pressure, boy.
When you went to the hospital with the patient, did you ever inform any of the doctors or nurses or medical professionals at the hospital that you had heard a female claim to have hit John O'Keefe and that's the reason for his injuries?
I did not give the report to the hospital.
So the answer to that is no,
No.
you did not. As a first responder and a medical professional yourself, obviously you know that the cause and manner of a victim's injuries are incredibly important as it pertains to assessing how to treat that patient.
Correct.
Once you got back to the station and to take a breath, did you write any report?
I did not. No, I did not write the patient care report.
So you didn't write a report, just to finish my question, you didn't write a report that said, by the way, while I was out at the scene, I heard a female say, "I hit him, and that's the cause and manner of the injuries."
Not to my knowledge.
Well, you would know if you wrote a report that said that.
Correct.
And you did not.
I did not write the patient care report.
Okay. At any time that day or any day subsequent thereto, did you contact the Canton Police Department, which were the first responders?
I did not.
So let me finish my question. And say, by the way, just so you know, I heard this woman say, "I hit him," out of the scene.
I did not.
Did you ever, on that day or any day subsequent thereto, contact the Massachusetts State Police and say, "I heard this person say I hit him"?
I did not.
This is crazy.
So the first time you ever repeated that statement was on February 8th with Trooper Proctor.
Correct.
And by the time we've come full circle to today, that statement has now pivoted.
In terms,
You didn't you didn't overhear the person say it to a female. Now, she's talking directly to you now.
she spoke directly to me, yes.
Wow.
Have you, just one last point, you've obviously noted that this case has gotten an enormous amount of notoriety, correct?
Correct.
How many times would you say that you've discussed this case and this incident with your fellow firefighters?
It's brought up around the station semi-frequently. However, being involved in it, we try to stay clear of it just because we are involved in it.
So the answer is, there's been many discussions.
Yes.
Probably daily.
Frequently.
Yeah.
Have any of those discussions helped you with what you earlier described as a little bit of a faulty memory around that time frame?
Objection, Your Honor.
He can have that. Have they?
Are we letting him have it?
Repeat the question for me, sir.
Sure. Have any of those discussions helped you with what you earlier described as a little bit of a faulty memory?
The memories that I have and the ones that I'm bringing up, I don't believe that they've changed. I've played them over in my head to the best of my ability, and I don't believe my story is swayed. If they've been enunciated incorrectly on my part, it wasn't intentional.
Understood. And,
Yeah.
and nobody's casting aspersions. Yeah. Memory's a funny thing.
Really?
So your memory is as good about that as it is about that winter coat.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Mr. Lally?
Nah, man. That's ridiculous. Bro, you said something completely different and you don't want to acknowledge that your testimony has changed and you acting like you talking about enunciation. Not enunciation. Not enunciation.
Mr. Nuttall, when it comes to being asked about consistency of causality as far as different injuries that you observed on Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
Rephrase that for me.
Sure. Poorly phrased on my part. So you would have been asked on cross-examination about some things that the injuries you observed on Mr. O'Keefe could be consistent with as far as having been the cause of those injuries, correct?
Correct.
And how many sort of myriad of other causalities or how many myriad of other sort of things could have also been a cause of the injuries that you observed?
As stated, a lot. It's not typically just physical altercations. It could be, again, a golf ball could hit you in the head. That could cause similar injuries.
And just for clarity purposes, when you were asked about a particular time frame, were you talking about the time frame of January 29th, or were you talking about the time frame of February 8th when you met with Trooper Crawford?
Sorry, so rephrase that for me.
Let me withdraw that and move on to something else. So just again, for clarity purposes, when you were asked about some statements that were attributed to you to Trooper Proctor during an interview, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so with regard to what you recall differently, is it the statement that the person, the female with the blood on her face, made to you, or the statement of the other female telling that person to be quiet?
So as stated, real quick, down and dirty, I asked, do you know this person? To which I hit him. And then in the background, I remember hearing over and over, I hit him. That was kind of pushed towards the back, and patient care took priority, if that answers your question.
Do you recall specifically at this time the other statements that you were asked about as far as whether or not the other female told that female to be quiet?
I do remember that, correct.
And the other statement as far as the female with blood on her face, and again, that was the differentiating character between the two females that you observed there, correct?
Correct.
And your memory of that statement is, I hit him, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Nuttall, you are all set, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Do you have another witness, Mr. Lally, to start?
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Mr. Anthony Flamati to the stand.
Your story changed, bro. Your story changed. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, his story changed. You know what? I gotta point out this I hit him thing. For that to have been said, and the officer said he heard it. And this guy, paramedic guy, he said he heard it. The firefighter guy, he said he heard it. And to not make note of that or not, I just don't understand how something so significant could not be addressed on the scene and not even discussed or nothing, even the day of, or it just doesn't make sense. No, it's so significant. It just don't make sense.
Stand and face the clerk.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the evidence you give the court and jury in the case now and hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Name is Anthony Flamati, last name spelled Flematti.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a acting lieutenant at this time for the Canton Fire Department.
And how long in total have you worked for the Canton Fire Department?
Got hired in 2015, July of 2015, so coming up on 10 years.
And prior to working with the Canton Fire Department, what, if any, other work did you have within sort of the same field?
So in the same field, I worked for the Athol Fire Department for a few years, hired in 2012, March 2012, until July of 2015. So just transferred departments.
And even prior to working with the Athol Fire Department, did you work as an EMT anywhere?
Yep. So I worked as an EMT for American Medical Response out of Springfield and Holyoke. Worked for Fallon Ambulance. Started basic level of EMT around 2008, and then just different private ambulance companies around the state.
And just starting with the EMT side of it for the first, what, if any, training did you receive or education did you receive prior to getting your certification as an EMT?
There's different levels of certifications for EMTs. The EMT basic starts out with about 6 months, a couple nights a week for about, like I said, about 6 months. Take a certification, practical, and written examination for that to get your basic level, and then you move on to the paramedic level of schooling as well.
Can you describe for the jury a little bit about sort of what that paramedic level of schooling is?
So the paramedic schooling starts, it's about 12 to 14 months, depends on the program, which school you go to. Night school 2 to 4 times a week for about 14 months, and then you start going into a clinical phase where you go into the different operating rooms, emergency rooms, OB/GYN, cardiac CCU, ICU. You do about 300 hours of education in that. Once you've completed a bunch of skill checkoffs under the supervision of an RN or a doctor, depending on the room, you would then clear that section of your schooling and then move on to a ride time phase, which is about 200 to 300 hours, depending on skills, what you need. That would be either in a fire department or a private EMS under the preceptorship of a senior paramedic that would kind of walk you through how to do the job and shadow you and supervise that you're doing things appropriately. You do that for about 200 or 300 hours. You write up different documentation, basically learning how to do it out of the clinical set and then more of in the field set. After that, you would, whatever job you have at that point, you would do an additional practical assessment, again, about 6 or 7 different stages of evaluation for physical skills. Then you would do a written test, again, with the state. At that time, it was the state, Massachusetts, to certify you as a paramedic. Then after that, they have another 2 to 6 month preceptorship within the department to acclimate you to the physical location that you're working in.
And so there's a written portion and a practical portion to both the EMT as well as the paramedic training?
Yes, that's correct.
And you successfully completed that and received certifications in regard to both?
Yes.
And those certifications, are they something that is just sort of a one-time blessing, or is that something that has a continuing educational component and a recertification?
That's correct. So every 2 years, we have to do a 48-hour refresher. So it's continuing education classes as far as national core curriculum classes that the national standard holds us to. So it covers different topics that they mandate that we cover every 2 years.
And your certification is up to date at this point, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you're currently a lieutenant within the Canton Fire Department, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long have you had the rank of lieutenant?
I'm a temporary acting lieutenant, so I've been that since, I believe it was February, up till this time.
And within the town of Canton, how many fire station or firehouses do you have within Canton?
So we have 2 different stations, headquarters and Station 2, that we operate over.
And do you work specifically in one, or does it sort of rotate between the two?
Depends on the rank. So as a firefighter, we rotate through the different positions, or different stations. As the lieutenant, I'm the lieutenant right now at Station 1, so headquarters.
And where is Station 1 located?
99 Revere Street.
And with respect to each of the two station houses, how many sort of different vehicles and apparatus are located?
So we have, depends on what's obviously in service for mechanical issues and stuff, but we have a primary engine, a backup engine. We try to have at each station. We have 1 tanker truck, 2 ladder trucks. We have 2 primary ambulances and then a backup ambulance as well. So we try to have at least 1 engine, 1 ambulance, 1 ladder at each station, and then we'll have the backup pieces for that. And I believe our tanker truck right now, or our water truck, is out of Station 2.
And Station 2, where is that located?
7 Sassamon Street.
Now, as far as the sort of shift, how many people are assigned to, when you're assigned to, let me ask you this first. When you have a shift, what hours is that shift sort of concern?
So for shifting or shift work, it's 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. So we work 24-hour shifts. We'd have a 24 period off from work, another 24, and then we're off for 5 days.
And when you're assigned to a certain shift for that 24-hour period, are you assigned to sort of a specific duty or a truck, or how does that work?
We usually just assign to a specific position for either the 10-hour or the 14, depending on rotations, overtime, that kind of stuff. But we're usually assigned to an individual piece or individual position for that shift, at least, whether it's a day shift or the whole 24.
And so starting with just the ambulance, if you're assigned to the ambulance, how many people and what are the different roles in the ambulance?
So the ambulance, we would have 2 people assigned to the ambulance. We rotate either through seniority or through care level, whether paramedic, EMT. If you're both paramedics, then it would go by seniority and swap back and forth for call volume and teching, who's in charge of the call. And then we would also cross-man with the ladder as well. So depending on the call that comes in for service, we would either, on a fire call, we could take the ladder, medical call, we could take the ambulance.
And with respect to the engine, how is that sort of divvied up, or what are the different roles on an engine?
So with the engine, if we have a full staff of 13 members, we would have 4 people on the engine. If there's a couple people off vacation, that type of thing, we could do, it's the driver, the step, and then the lieutenant in charge of the engine.
Now, if I could turn your attention to January 28th, into the evening of January 28th into the morning of January 29th, were you working on that occasion?
Yes.
Okay, you were working 8 a.m. on the 28th until 8 a.m. on the 29th, is that correct?
That's correct.
And which firehouse were you working out of on that occasion?
I believe it was Station 1 at that time.
And what was your assignment in relation to that shift, whether it was ambulance, truck, or engine, whatever?
That would have been Ambulance 1.
And who, if anyone else, was assigned to Ambulance 1 along with you at that time?
At that time, I was working with Matthew Leahy. Not Leahy, sorry, Matthew Kelly. We have a lot of similar names.
And what, if any, disparity was there between sort of the experience that you had versus the experience that Mr. Kelly had at that time?
So Mr. Kelly had just started with the department at the BLS level, at the EMTB, probably 2 or 3 months prior. I had just finished up his preceptorship, getting him onboarded as a new hire EMT, so very minimal experience at that time.
So fair to say any sort of medical calls, you would have been sort of what they call the lead paramedic, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, with reference to that particular time frame, the 28th, 29th, what, if anything, were you aware of as far as sort of weather, forecast, that?
So leading into that shift, I knew there was a storm coming, and I had always lived a good distance away from work. So I would try and tie overtime shifts in so I wouldn't have to commute more than once back and forth. But with the storm coming, wanted to not have to drive into the weather. So I picked up overtime the night before that shift.
And about what time did you arrive the night before?
The night before, I arrived at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is the start of the shift.
And so you were essentially on shift for a relatively significant period of time leading into the morning of the 29th, correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned that there was a storm that was forecasted. What, if anything else, do you recall about sort of what type of storm or what was predicted?
Predicted it was going to be a pretty significant storm, heavy winds, heavy snow. Not something I wanted to drive in the morning, so if the opportunity arose, I took the overtime for that night.
What did it turn out to be as far as?
Exactly as predicted. We hadn't gotten much snow up until about midnight or so, and then snow developed since pretty much then on.
And in a moment, I'm going to ask you about a call around 6 a.m., but just if I could take you back a little bit before that, over sort of the overnight shift, did you have any dispatches or calls that you responded to, say, after midnight, but prior to 6 a.m.?
I don't believe so. I don't recall how many calls were prior to that. That one was kind of the key of the night.
So you mentioned sort of, what if any memory do you have as far as like sort of when it started to snow?
It would have been after 10 p.m. for sure, but I'm not sure exactly.
Now, turning your attention to a little bit after 6 a.m., you get a dispatch for a medical call, correct?
Correct.
And just prior to that, what about time did you sort of get up, rise, and sort of, start doing things around the station that day?
So shift change usually happens around 8 a.m. in the morning. It takes a while to get everything ready for normal business hours. We try and get the station prepped for public that come into the building or just people passing, going around. We try to prepare the sidewalks, the apron. So we get up around 5:30, if depending on call volume throughout the night. Sometimes we're up throughout the whole night. But we got up that morning around 5 to shovel, snow blow, salt the public walkways, that type of thing.
And specifically when it comes to the apron, that's sort of the area in front of the garage doors, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And so why is it so important to sort of clear off the apron as far as snow is concerned?
So as far as in front of the apparatus doors, is a very limited height clearance between the top of the fire apparatus and the actual garage bay doors. So a few inches of snow would be enough to cause us to bump into the ceiling of the apparatus garage doors. So we have to keep that relatively almost bare to be able to pull the apparatus out without causing any damage.
And about what time was it that you and the other firefighters at your station started to sort of clear off, whether it be the parking lot, the apron, or anything else as far as snow?
I'd say about 5:15, 5:30.
And at the time that you get this call, shortly after 6 a.m., about how much snow was on the ground at that point?
It's probably 4 to 6 inches.
And this dispatch that comes in shortly after 6 a.m., what was the dispatch in regard to it, and where were you dispatched to?
So we didn't have much information going out the door, just that there was a man on the side of the road. And we knew, due to the weather, there could be a significant call. So.
Before I leave and depart on that just for 1 second, when it comes to when you're outside sort of shoveling off the apron and clearing some of the parking lot, in addition to the snow, what, if anything else, did you note as far as sort of the weather conditions, visibility, things like that?
So visibility was extremely poor. High winds, probably 20, 30 mile an hour winds. Temperature probably in the 20s with still actively snowing at that time.
And the winds, to the best of your recollection, was this something that was just sort of a gust, or was it sort of persistent?
Sustained winds and then probably gusts as well.
And so you received this dispatch, and you, I'm presuming, get in the ambulance and go, correct?
Correct.
Who, if anyone, is in the ambulance with you when you respond?
So responding in, I had myself, Matthew Kelly, and firefighter Nuttall had come in early as well to try and beat the storm and get in on time, because he was scheduled to come in at 8 a.m. that morning anyways. But with the heavy snow, wanted to make sure he could get in and be able to relieve the people coming off.
And within the ambulance, where was everybody sort of situated on route to the call?
I believe Matthew Kelly was driving, I was in the passenger seat, and Nuttall was in the back of the truck.
And as far as during the course of your going from Station 1 to the scene on Fairview Road, what, if anything, did you note as far as sort of the road conditions, visibility as you were?
So that neighborhood is actually relatively close to the station, so you normally get there in a couple minutes, but it was slow driving over there. So I remember going pretty slow to get over to the scene.
And as far as this particular time of day, what was sort of the lighting like at that point? Had the sun come up or anything like that?
Sun had not come up yet. It was still dark, heavy winds, heavy snow, so visibility was almost zero.
And as far as what, if any, other sort of apparatuses from your station were dispatched to this call as well at the same time?
So the other call would have been, or the other vehicle would have been engine 3. And just engine 3, car 5 will sometimes go. That's the shift commander for the department, depending on the nature of the call, how it comes in, and the ambulance. So it would have been the 3 apparatus.
Do you recall who, if anyone, was in either car 5 or the engine?
So car 5 would have been, at the time, Captain Wendell Robery. In the engine, it would have been Frank Walsh, Katie McLaughlin, and the lieutenant for the engine was Greg Woodbury.
And you mentioned it took a little bit longer than without the weather to get to Fairview Road. Is that correct?
That's correct.
If you have any idea approximately how much time elapsed between the time that you received the call and the time that you arrived on scene?
I'd have to refer to the EMS report. That is going to be more accurate, but I believe it was 5 or 6 minutes.
And to that point, with any call, there's an EMS report that's prepared by, who is it prepared by?
So it's usually the person who texts the call or is in charge of the call. This was an ALS level call, so it would have been myself.
So you wrote as far as the report in relation to the EMS arrival, and within that is contained sort of different times that things happen along the way, correct?
Correct.
And the times that are noted within that report, is that something that's noted as it's happening, or is that something that you go back and figure out at a later time?
So as we're going through the call and radio messages are sent, that's all documented on a third party that documents timestamps, things like that. As far as on scene, transport, clear from the hospital, that type of thing. It's all third party documented.
May I approach the witness, John?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 160. Specifically turning to the 7th page and asking you to direct your attention to the far right column. You see that portion of the report, sir?
Yes.
Okay. First and foremost, what I placed before you as Exhibit 160, that's your report, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And on that right column of the 7th page end, what, if anything, do you see with regard to times?
So we have our dispatch time, 6:06, en route time, 6:07, on scene, 6:14, at patient, 6:15, and we had transported from that scene at 6:27 and arrived at destination at the hospital, 6:45.
That destination hospital would have been Good Samaritan Medical Center, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, if you could, going back to sort of your dispatch from Station House to Fairview Road, can you describe sort of the path as far as what direction, what route you took to get from one to the other?
Yep, so from Revere Street, we would have come out, taken a right onto Revere Street, gone to the end of that road, taken a left on Sherman, driven all the way up to Chapman Street, taken a right on Chapman Street, gone up to Fairview Street, and then taken a left on that. That would have brought us down to the address.
And as you're coming down Fairview, are you familiar with that area?
Yes.
Okay. And so as you're coming down Fairview, is there any kind of grade or elevation to the roadway as you're coming down?
Yep, so that is a downhill towards about halfway down the road, so a pretty good grade that's coming downwards.
And the address that you responded to with 34 Fairview Road, when you're coming from the direction that you were coming off of Chapman, is that a residence that's on your left or right or something?
That would have been on the left.
And when you arrive on scene, what, if any, other sort of vehicles or apparatuses do you observe beyond sort of what you've already described as a...
So we had the fire apparatus. There was another vehicle, bystander vehicle, that was on scene as well. I don't recall if police were on scene at that time, but...
And when you first sort of pull up to the scene, what, if anything, is it that you observe even prior to getting out of the truck or the ambulance?
So as we're pulling up to the scene, we see two female parties, non-uniformed personnel, that were going back and forth between the body and the side of the street and back and forth. Appeared to be a female party that was pushing on his chest and then going back and forth between the other female party and the patient.
And again, so when you first sort of pull up, you're able to see the body on the ground. Is that correct?
It was, yeah, you could see a body, but it was very hard to see that distance away.
And do you recall any sort of like overhead or ambient lighting, street lighting or anything like that illuminating in that area?
I don't recall.
Now, this individual, as far as the person on the ground, at some point you were able to subsequently identify who that was, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, who did you identify him?
So identification won't normally happen right at that bedside. That's not really relevant to initial treatment. We found out who it was when we got into the ambulance and we were able to do a more thorough search once interventions had started.
So when you first arrive on scene, fair to say you're primarily or only sort of concerned with patient care, correct?
Yeah, correct.
To the point you sort of tunnel vision to the patient, correct?
Yeah.
So you arrive on scene and you get out of the ambulance and where is it that you go?
So we then go grab all of the equipment that we're going to need to work on the patient, and then we bring that equipment over to the patient's side to be able to start treatment.
All right, Mr. Flamati, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you, Ms. Tillali. Jurors, that's it for today. We are not in session tomorrow. Remind you, please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation into this case. If you happen to see, hear, or read anything about the case, please disregard it, let us know. We'll see you on Thursday morning, and Thursday will be a half day.
Oh, okay, so this is a half day.
All rise for the court, please.
All right. So this is a half day. Lord of mercy. Shout out to the chat. Oh, let me get this over. It's a half day, y'all. It's a half day. All right, well, with that being said, I'm actually going to do the day 3 because I got time. But we're going to end this one, and I'm going to do another one in a few minutes. But so we're going to do day 3. For this one right here, interesting. So some people heard her say, or some witnesses claim that Karen Reed said, I hit him, and they even said, she said, it's all my fault. And the people that are making these allegations claim to have heard it and did not report it, didn't write it down, didn't make a big deal of it, didn't say it to anybody else in the moment. They really kept this until later on. And that's really odd to me, especially the police officer who's been on the force for quite a while, who did not take mental note, like did not write that down. That's something very significant. And I just don't know how they didn't they quote unquote overlooked it until days later or however long later. But I'm interested to see the rest and how everything unfolds. It is startling to hear because that's the biggest thing for me right now. The fact that they're saying she said those words, and just hearing that she said those words, I just can't understand how did that not get written down or in your report? How would you not put that in your report? It just doesn't make sense. Not to me. It just doesn't make sense. But it's that time again. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go over day 3. So look out for that. Those of you who are catching the replay, part 3 will be out. Those of you who are still around, check out my next live. It's gonna be up in about a few minutes. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this. Tell me how you feel about this. All right, we out there.